Montrell, have you lost all your money on the stock market yet?
Like I said, I lost in individual stocks, not in my 401k, but my
Yeah.
individual stocks, I lost about 1,500. So I
Yeah,
made some very bad calls.
I think
So
I've lost a lot more than that.
no, not your individual. Like
Yes,
I got
sir.
my 401k and I have my individual. That's how you guys are separated as well.
No, I have we have a 401k. We have 401ks, but then we have like a actual investment portportfolio we have.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm
Okay.
talking about. Yeah, the investment portfolio is not looking too hot right now. 16 months of gains, Montreal wiped out in 5 days.
I feel the same way. I started getting into it like maybe 8 or 9 months ago.
Yeah.
After we had
Yeah.
that big conversation, I know it was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Everything you've
yeah,
gained
man.
since then is out the window. I mean, you're probably at a
Yeah,
loss at this point.
I start
Actually.
pulling out. Yeah, I start
Yeah,
pulling out.
okay. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm a long-term investor, so I'm just holding the fort down. I might put a little more in actually cuz but I don't want to get political here. Like this is not necessarily where I want to start the show, but it was going to be relevant today
It is going
because
to be relevant. It's going to be
we're
very
talking we're going to
relevant.
talk about the Nintendo Switch and there's a lot wrapped up in all that. But this is the craziest shit I think I've ever seen
I am so
a
tired of
president
living
do,
through.
man. Like
I am s-
including him. This shit is nuts. What he's been
I
doing the
think
last week, like
okay. When were your parents born, if you don't mind me asking? Like in the 60s?
60s, yeah, early
Okay.
60s.
So my parents were born in the late 60s. So
Okay,
which means they lived through Vietnam,
yeah.
and that's about it, right? Was there a great crash in like
The
the
Gulf,
90s? The Gulf War.
the Gulf War,
Yeah, the Gulf War, that's true.
and
And
then
then
obviously the
maybe
war. Then the wars we
then the
lived through
wars
as
being
well.
occurred. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's okay. Because I'm like, bro, our generation is like fucked. Like we're gonna get old. We're already old. We're gonna get old. And we're used to
our
everything. Just
trauma,
drop,
bro. Yeah, man. Holy shit. No,
just
I
drop
think
the nuke on us,
millennials.
bro.
I think millennials are the most fucked generation. I mean, it's easy to say because I am one, and it's like we're pitiful us, but I don't know, dude. You're not wrong, Montreal. I mean, think about it. I think we had peace through the '90s, right?
Yes,
The
yes.
controversial thing in the '90s was Clinton getting his dick sucked, right? Like it was a good time, man. That it was a good time, and then we start the 2000s off with 9/11, and we have one of the worst recessions we've ever seen with a housing market crash. None of us can get jobs out of college in like the early 2010s. Coming
Yep.
out of college. Then we have then we have Trump's presidency, his first term, which
wasn't bad. I'll
honestly,
admit
looking
that.
back
It
on it,
wasn't.
compared to where we are now, dude, he had guardrails around him clearly, in that first
Yes.
presidency.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it was horrible, right?
Yes.
People were losing their minds.
It was a culture shock moment
It was
for a lot of
absolutely a
people.
culture shock moment.
Yeah.
There was Gamergate, which probably not on the scale of the things we're talking about. Then we have COVID, which is the worst pandemic I don't know we've seen in over 100 years, something like that. And then we have now Trump's second term, which is starting off with a fucking bang, bro. He's literally going to destroy the global economy. That's what he's trying to do right now. That's what it feels like. I feel like, we were talking about it earlier today. I think these tariffs are an intentional way to tank the stock market so all the rich people can like get in and make a shitload of money real quick. That's what I
think.
Yeah, the second that he says the tariffs are over, dude, the market is going to explode. It's going to fucking shoot up. It's going to be like one of the most insane days of gains we've ever seen, like that. And it's like, and if that actually happens, then it's like what else are you supposed to think other than that it's intentional? It's like I would want to go find all these rich guys and see their trades for the period of time between like before and after the tariffs, because like I'm so suspicious of this right now because this is so completely insane, like how he's doing this and what he's doing with all these countries that I don't know, because they're not going to serve the purpose that he wants them to serve, right? We're not going to strong arm anyone into doing what we want, and it's not going to fix American manufacturing or American, productivity. in the US. It's just like you would have to do it over such a long period of time that you actually force companies to manufacture here, And it's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just not going to happen in a month, And it's like I don't
Yeah,
know.
and I agree. I mean, like I said, I'm not his biggest fan, obviously. But
Yeah.
I try to be objective. I really do
Yeah,
try to be objective.
reasonable object. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I do the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah, but this one, I
But
don't know.
I I was really against him. He stopped the chip. He paused. He didn't cancel it, but he paused the Chips Act. I don't know why he did that. And that was designed to bring semiconductor factories over here to America.
Yeah,
And that was something that Biden did. He
yeah,
wanted to bring semiconductors over to America just in case China was like, all right, fuck Taiwan. We're about to take
yeah.
everything
Which
and
makes
everything.
sense. That's a
Yeah.
sensible thing.
So I don't agree with him pausing that. I would agree with tariffs if they were targeted. Like if he's like, I want to say like we have to bring a certain part from a certain country over here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
For American manufacturing. He's like, I want to target that specific tariff so that you guys can build a factory over here to make that part over here in America. That way, blah blah blah. Once
yeah,
that factory's built, then the tariff is like done, or whatever. I wouldn't mind targeted tariffs like that.
yeah,
This is just blanket tariffs everywhere, and I'm
yeah.
just like,
Well, do they affect? So I haven't read this deeply into it yet. Do they affect
yeah.
everything from these
So
countries,
so
or because you generally have to call out the specific
so
products that the tariffs are
I
on, right?
okay, so that's the part I have to really deep dive in. So from what
Okay.
all the articles are telling me, and I'm looking at right wing sources, left wing sources, because I use Ground
Yeah.
News.
Yeah.
This is not an ad sponsorship, guys, but I
Yeah.
use Ground News. So it gives me like left and right stuff, right? They don't really have a specific. They're saying blanketed, but I know for a fact that for Mexico and Canada is in particular, they're only 10% tariffs on oil and gas, like
Yeah.
energy stuff.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think if it's like energy related, it's lower. But everything else is like fair game. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
There may be some targeted things in certain countries,
Hmm.
but yeah. And if if this Reddit post is any true, I'm looking to that Reddit post actually. If
Okay.
that's true of what he's doing, that's crazy that they're
Like
using
how they're
Chat
calculating
GPT.
the percentage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that's not
So
true.
yeah, I hope it's not true too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. The whole signal gate thing, that was pretty crazy to me as well. That, we're just texting each other strike plans in our
Yeah.
group chat and we're,
Yeah.
putting emojis and stuff. So that was
Yeah.
pretty crazy to me too. But yeah, the whole terror, I didn't think he was gonna do it, to be honest with you. I
I
knew
didn't
he talked a
either. I
lot of
didn't think it
junk.
would. I really didn't think it would be
Yeah.
this severe. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew he talked a lot of junk on the campaign trail. Even I wasn't buying it, and I'm like, I'm a leftist, and like, leftists were like going really crazy over it. I'm like, I don't think he's going to do that. Nobody's that dumb. That's stupid. Like it doesn't benefit
But
anybody.
dude, honestly, think about it though. On it, like we were talking about guardrails on the first campaign or the first term. It makes sense though, thinking about it this way, where he had guardrails in the first term because he knew he had to go for reelection, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is reelected now into the second term. So one or two things is going to happen. Either he's going to do the second term and that's it, and he's done, or he's going to try to get a third term illegally or try to repeal the amendment, whatever he tries to do. So no matter what way we go, he probably feels like he doesn't need to get reelected again. So he's just going crazy. He's just doing whatever. There's no barriers now. Like he doesn't need to keep people in line. He doesn't need to keep the citizens happy because no matter what he says, like he can just lie as much as he wants. Dude, these tariffs are not good for the lower classes. Like not at all, bro. Like this shit is gonna be miserable for us.
Yeah, I can't. I
I
honestly
don't.
can't see how you're lower class or even an entrepreneur trying to get your business out of it, started up or whatever. This is not good for you because now you're going to have to pass off if you're importing like a T-shirt or something like that at like $10 and say the tariffs add $5 onto it. Now you're going to have to
Yeah,
import
you
that.
can't eat that, dude. You cannot
Yeah, you
eat
can't.
that.
You got to pass it on to the consumer. You have to, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
your
But then,
shirts now went from $20 to $30 that
but to the
quickly.
point, like consumers can't absorb that either, dude. It's too severe.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, people will still buy shirts, but they're going to buy way less shirts, you know? If
exactly.
they were spending $100 before, they're still going to spend $100. Instead of getting 10 shirts though, they're going to get 6, you know? It's like like it's not a, I don't know. It's not a good look.
I, and I think what's really crazy about it is it's like literally the entire world. Well, not every country, but I think like a lot of countries are on that list that
Dude,
got tariffed.
somebody told me that
I
he put a tariff on a country that has like 500 people in it, and
he put
they're
a
literally
he
they're
put a
like a
tariff on the
they like all they do is
he,
fish. They don't even know. They don't even like communicate with anybody. You know, like they're not. Like,
he put a tariff on a country that only has penguins on it or some shit
yeah.
like that. So
Well,
the
yeah,
only and then I see this going around. See, like now this is where not misinformation, but like the entire context needs to go. And this is like because I'm in the left wing side, so I see a left wing circle saying like he didn't tear up North Korea and Russia. See, guys, and I'm like, well, we already have sanctions on them, so it literally makes no sense to tear up them at all. Like we
yeah,
already have a hella sanctions on them. So unless he lifted those sanctions in silence, I mean we're not getting any kind of business from them anyway. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the reason why he didn't tear up those two countries. But in my opinion, this is the most bonkers one, especially if like you're like a fucking nerd like me, and I'm pretty sure everyone done it. You know, and every anime person has looked into the history of Japan. Everybody's done it, so don't give me that shit, everybody. But if you know the history of Japan, in China and Korea. Korea hates Japan and China
yeah,
historically. I don't know
yeah,
about now, but
yeah.
historically they had a lot of like beefs with each other. Those three
Oh
countries. It's like
yeah,
a
dude,
triangle. It's like a
dude,
triangle of hate. So,
absolutely, dude. Their history is insane. Like it's crazy.
so for them to get together and say, "Hey, if he tariffs us, let's get together and like
Make a
tariff
coalition
him,
or whatever
get another
together. Yeah,
coalition."
that's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's
maybe he's finally achieving world peace. I mean, maybe he is the president of peace.
we have to be the villains so everybody else unites. Hey, man, we've always talked about that on the show. You know, humanity's only going to unite when there's a singular force that makes them all
Exactly.
unite together. So I guess the United States is going to be that for everybody. You know, it's let's fucking go. Oh man. So yeah, we'll get more into the tariff stuff later in the show though. Like I said, it does impact some of the news today, so I don't want to linger on that too long. But Montreal, so how's life otherwise for you?
Honestly, this week I can't complain. I was even with all the news, I was just like, I'm just rolling through it. So I've been
I
all
know, I'm
right
kind of
this
chilling
week.
this week. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. Like, it's not have been a bad week though. You know, I mean, you know, the stocks is a funny thing because it's like you lose money and obviously you are losing that money, like it's real, like you are really losing it, but it's not realized, so what that means is like it's not liquid money. It's not like your fucking bank account is going down, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
this isn't money you have in your hand or you could have in your hand at any moment. Like to realize that money, you have to sell the stocks, which is a whole process. It's not hard, but it takes time for that to play out. You don't have immediate access to it,
Yeah,
generally speaking, and you have to pay taxes on it. So it's like, it's not something you really want to do too much is sell. So it's like when you're looking at it, yeah, it sucks. Obviously, it hurts, but it's at the same time, it's kind of just like, the stock market is a long game for the most part. If you wait long enough, it will go back up. Generally how it goes. So
yeah, I agree. When I put money into the stock market, I genuinely say this money is gone. Like that's how I
yeah,
picture it in my head.
right.
And if it builds up, and it's like, oh, this is good. I have an extra $100 now, or something like that. So
Yeah,
that's how I picture it when I put money into the stock market. And in my opinion, that's how a lot of people should picture it. Like
yeah.
unless it's like your 401k or whatever, right? But like even then, like you just want to like push it in there and just don't touch it. So
This is not
um
financial advice.
yeah, oh yeah, exactly. Sorry, not financial advice. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the show proper here, Montreal. So, welcome everybody. This is the Players Take, episode 316. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined as always by my co-host Montrell Rice. We if you have not listened to the show before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can do so on Twitter at The Players Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. All right, Montrell. Let's get into it. Start with what we've been playing. Any big changes for you this week? I did add a game back in for myself, but
No. Yeah, I've just been playing Monster Hunter Wilds and Xenoblade Chronicles X still. Um, making some progress. I'm on chapter 7. Got my
Xenoblade?
scale. Yeah.
Damn. Okay, you've been
Yes.
playing. Shit.
Yeah. So I'm on chapter 7. And yeah, the gameplay the game actually ratchets up a lot as far as like gameplay wise after you get your scale
Yeah.
and everything of that nature. And I think the key is to experiment with other classes. So I'm experimenting with one of the other classes that has a saber and then like 2 floaty. I can't remember the name of the class, but it has 2 floaty guns on top of it, on top of yourself when you're using them.
Yeah.
So I'm experimenting with that class now, and yeah, I'm just having fun overall with the game. The games you just got to go at the game's pace, and I'm appreciating that, and I'm treating it like an MMO, like a light MMO light. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's just fun to come home, play, do a couple of quests, and then jump into something else.
Have you done a bunch of the side content?
Yeah, I got a couple of characters. I
Yeah.
got Fog. I got fuck. I forgot the girl name. She has like feathers on her head. I just got her yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
I don't remember all
I
the
did some other
characters,
content.
dude. The party
Yeah,
in this game, that game is huge,
yeah,
and they added more with the remake or the re-release. Like, I'm like, what the fuck, guys? What are we doing, man? But no, I remember my memory of that game is exploring the open world, and then all the side quests were really good. There's like a whole bunch of different like alien races you get to know and stuff, and
yep,
it's actually really interesting lore. Like, they have really weird cultures and stuff, and tendencies and things like that. And I really would love a sequel where you actually do some, space exploration and stuff, where you're kind of exploring like multiple planets and stuff. That would be pretty sick. So, but glad you're enjoying it. Any changes to the story that you've noticed so far?
Not so far. They did reveal a couple of things about the world where I actually don't know where it's going, actually. Which is cool. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I don't think it's revealing anything, but they got to a point where even uh Alma was like, or Emma rather, not Alma was in Monster Hunter. Emma was like, we're meeting these other races and we all can understand each other. Isn't that fucking weird? And I'm like, that is fucking weird. So I like I like where it's going with the story,
Mm,
because that is an interesting plot that all these races are kind of like converging on Mira, and like
yeah,
everyone was like,
intermingling. Yeah,
yeah, intermingling, and everyone was like, I've never met this race before, yet I can speak and understand their language perfectly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it's pretty cool so far. I think the
Cool.
world building is pretty cool. So yeah.
Okay. What about Monster Hunter? How's you just grinding through it? You trying to get
I
crowns? What are
haven't
you doing?
I haven't touched it in like
Okay,
a week, man. So I'll be honest with
gotcha.
you.
Okay.
I'll probably start playing it again today. Or not today,
Well,
I'm sorry, but next early later on this week
this
probably.
weekend, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was thinking about it today, and I was like, we had talked about getting the crowns together, and I'm like, I do still want to do that, and it's like, I just, it's not that I don't want to play the game. I just think about playing the game though, and I'm just like, I'd rather do something else, man. I don't know. It just, I have an issue with Monster Hunter with low rank and high rank, where it's just like, it just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of purpose to it at a certain point, because I know I'm just waiting for the next thing. So I don't want to spend 300 hours grinding for the perfect fucking armor set that I'm going to replace with like jaggy armor in G rank.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like the World of Warcraft effect that I don't really want to do. So, I don't know. So that's kind of my issue, but I do kind of want to platinum the game though. So, and I want to do that before it becomes an unwieldy, insane game to play.
Yeah.
So doing it now would make more sense, but Well, if you do jump back into it, let me know.
Okay.
I'd probably be willing to play some still. So, you playing anything else besides PUBG, which we'll talk about in a bit?
Nope. I'm thinking about getting back into Rise of Ronin. I gotta finish that game,
Okay,
but I don't know yet. We'll see.
gotcha. Yeah. So for me, still playing Wuthering Waves. Last week I had caught up on content up until 2.2. 2.2 came out last Thursday, and I've done the story quest for 2.2, which took a few hours. It was good. Actually, I will say the story is improving. They are getting better at their storytelling with each patch, which is notable for sure. So I'm happy with that. I think that was pretty good. Otherwise, I haven't really done a whole lot else with Wuthering Waves. I'm kind of putting it down for now. I think I'm going to let the current content just sit for a little while. I want to play some other things. So, but I did get back into yesterday Kingdom Come Deliverance. I keep like playing this game and then dropping it and then playing it and then dropping it. So I'm like, I need to play it and actually just play the fucking game. So I played all day yesterday, or all day last night rather, and probably put about 4 hours into this. And I mean, I feel the same way about the game as I did before. Like, I really like it. I don't know why I keep dropping it for some reason, because it's really fun to play. It's a really, again, it's a really weird RPG. It is a janky game. I will say that continues to shine through. It's not an issue. Janky games can be charming. It's just like things like this, though. They kind of give you a quest where you have to like stealth into somebody's house and steal something out of like a trunk, and you need to lock pick your way into a couple doors, and then you need to lock pick the trunk in order to get the item in question. There are other ways to do this quest. You can go beat up the guy who has the key. You can distract the guy who has the key. You could just, what I ended up doing was I just waited until he wasn't in view of his front door, and I ran up, opened the door, ran inside, closed the door because it wasn't locked during the day for some reason. And he couldn't see me anymore even when he came back. So I had kind of free reign in his house. And then I went and unlocked the trunk, and I was able to unlock the trunk successfully. I got the ring, and this is where the game is janky though, because I'm technically in his house, which is considered a private area in the game. It like marks your kind of marks your compass when you're in one of those. Like there's a little icon next to it, and
Hmm.
I had that icon up, and actually there's kind of a secondary severity of that where it says private area, and then it says trespassing if you're in a place that's like really private that like people wouldn't want you to be. So I was in the trespassing one, and I got the item. I came out into the main, like the main entry into the house, and I went back into the quote private area part. So that's like I guess level one, severity of the private area. And he opens the door. He's bringing clothes into his house. He opens the door and he sees me, obviously. But I had already stolen the item. He didn't see me steal it. He did not see me open the chest, like lockpick the chest. So he just saw me in the house. So he just, when that happens, generally NPCs will just yell at you. They'll be like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Or whatever, and they won't immediately like attack you or call the guards or anything like that. So he just yelled at me. I ran out of the house and ran away, and he didn't follow me or anything, and it's just, so I completed the quest. But it's like that's the kind of jank that's in the game, though. It's like a really awkward thing because clearly I stole the ring from him, right? And if the game was going to play it out more realistically, he would eventually find out and go try to find me or tell the guards, and it would be a crime, and all these things would happen. Obviously, none of that happened, so I just completed the quest. So you're kind of playing around the parameters of the game a little bit, but again, this game is really cool though in the sense that quest, like, there's 5 different ways you can complete the quest, maybe even more than that. It might go all the way to 10 potentially because you could fight the guy, like I said, and knock him out, steal the key from him. You could try to pickpocket him when he's sleeping at night and take it that way and open the chest. You could try to pick the lock during the day. You could wait till he's sleeping at night and try to pick the lock. You could just kill him. Like, you could do all sorts of things, right? There's so many different ways to do the quest. There's an option if you talk to him, you can tell him a lie and distract him, and he'll just go run off somewhere for a bit, and that gives you time to then pick the lock and everything. But I didn't do that one because there might have been ramifications to that, because you're telling him that the miller who sent you to steal the ring, was shorted him on his last grain. shipment, which isn't true. You're just making up a lie to get him out of there. But I'm sure when I got back to the miller, he would have been like, "What the fuck, dude? Why'd you tell him I fucking shorted the grain, dude?" Or something like that. So,
Mhm.
there's a lot of different ways to tackle problems in this game, which is why it's fun. It kind of it's like if you think you can do something a certain way, you probably can. You just need to figure out the best way to do it. It's a very cool game in that regard. It's very like Deus Ex like in that way. So I'm really enjoying it. I really think I want to stick with it and finish it. And I'm actually really looking forward to the second game because some of that jankiness will obviously likely fall away. Like it'll be a more polished game. But where I left off though is I just learned how to pickpocket. So this game has really there's mechanics for everything. So when you lockpick in this game, there's a whole little, not a mini game, but like a thing, kind of like a challenge thing that pops up where you have to use the two sticks, and the left stick controls turning the lock, and then the right stick is where you're putting your pin, for the lockpick. And you have to line up the lockpick with a specific spot that lights up, and that's where the lock mechanism disengages if you're holding it. So you have to like hold it there while you're rotating the lock with the left stick, and then when you get far enough, it unlocks automatically. It's actually really difficult to do in the early game. It's not easy at all. It's really easy to break lockpicks, and actually it makes a shitload of noise. So if you're doing it somewhere where someone's around, they'll come find you if you do it too much. So there's that, and then pickpocketing has its own little mini game too. So you walk up to somebody, you have to stealth behind them where they don't see you, and then you engage. Kind of, you like hold X to pickpocket, and you have to hold it for a certain period of time, and there will be an icon on the screen that pops up, and it'll light up green, and then there'll be like a seconds counter going up, basically. And as you're holding the button, the color of the icon will fluctuate from green to red. And if it goes all the way to red, then the character will catch you trying to pickpocket them, basically. So you have to hold it as long as you can and gain as many seconds as possible, and then let it go, and it'll engage kind of the rest of the mini game, where you have to there'll be like a radial menu with different slots, and you have to go to each slot and pick the item you want to steal, basically, from the person. So, but the number of seconds you have to steal before they catch you is how many seconds you held the button down before you let go to engage the mini game. So it's a very interesting system. It's kind of cool. You're really bad at it when you start, as you are with everything in Kingdom Come Deliverance. But it's I'm really excited to like play around with it and just go to random people and like pickpocket them and shit. Because it's like a mini game for being a thief. It's like there's all these mini games for being a thief in this game, and I'm like, I can kind of like role play being like a thief, a stealthy thief and shit. So I'm kind of doing that with my Henry right now, and I have a lot of fun with it. It's very, very interesting. I'm trying to find boxes to lockpick so I can level my lock picking, and find people to pickpocket to level that, and stuff. So it's a very interesting game. I'm still very engaged with the narrative, by the way, as well. I did a lot of the main quest. It's again, this is not a game with like a super grand story, right? It's a very small, focused plot, and I really like that about the game. You're only meeting with a few different characters. There's not a lot of characters involved, but it's a very interesting narrative over kind of underneath this more macro narrative of of an invasion happening, and that's always kind of over everything you're doing at any given time too. So it's a really good game. I really recommend it. If you've played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, obviously it's been out for a couple months. If you've played that and beat it and you didn't play the first game, I really still would recommend coming back and playing this game. It's a really good game. There's a lot of cool stuff here. I'm sure there's a lot you would learn for the plot wise that you missed out on if you just like watched the summary or something. There's just a lot of little things going on in this game that's really cool. So yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. And then PUBG. We're still playing PUBG. We the last time we played, they released a anime girl visual novel mini game thing. we're all there were like a bunch of weapons in the game that were anime girls for some reason, and we wasted like 30 minutes doing that, trying to get in-game rewards. So that was fun, But um, but yeah, Mantra, how you liking PUBG? Is it still doing it for you?
Yeah, yeah. Surprisingly, I mean, like I said, we had some frustrating games, but uh, I don't know. It's just mainly I don't know. I don't know if it's us or the way we play. Maybe I don't know if we play too aggressive or too light. We just got to figure out the flow of the games because sometimes, like I said, that last game or the game before last, we were in the last circle.
Yeah,
Uh, those guys are just standing out in the open firing, and then everyone converged on us though. Even though those
yeah.
guys were like clearly out in the open firing at
Right, and
us.
we're like
Uh,
behind cover, like behind a hill, like
yeah,
somewhat covered, harder to hit. It's like I don't. I mean, I think what I'm trying to do when we're playing is like suggest different timings. Is because I want to understand. Is it a timing thing? Like we always come into the circle at the same timing, all the time. Is that the issue? It's like we're always converging at the exact wrong moment. It's like, but we just don't know it.
yeah,
Um, it's like so I want to understand like if we go into the circle mega early, like what does that look like? Or if we go in like super late, what does that look like? Or in the middle, try to find different timings in the middle. Like what does that look like? Like,
yeah,
try to pay more attention to the flight paths where those were. We've been doing things like that where we would like drive way north when the flight path was way south, but then like four other teams did the same thing and we end up dying.
yeah,
Um, so it's kind of stuff like that we need to understand like tactically what makes sense when with that stuff. So I don't know. I'm having fun with the game still. It's just weird. The gameplay is very strange sometimes because I'm pretty convinced that there are a lot of bots in the lobbies still.
hmm
Like I would probably put it at 40% maybe of the lobbies.
yeah,
Um and when you run into bots, the gameplay is so significantly different that it almost throws you off, because they're stupid as hell, right?
yeah,
They run back and forth, they just charge at you in the open. They don't use cover very well. They fire decently if you let them, if
yeah.
you
They do
actually give
actually hit your
yeah, if
hit
you
your
give them an
shots. Yeah,
opportunity to, but yeah, but it's like, so when you go from that to fighting against regular players who are actually skilled, like it can be really jarring sometimes.
yeah,
um, and can be very frustrating. We have run into our fair share of hackers. That is still a thing. It's still a problem in this game, for
yes.
sure. Um,
It's more obvious in this game than it is in Apex, in my opinion. Um,
mhm.
that being said, Apex doesn't have a kill cam, so or did
Yeah,
they? No, they don't have a kill cam. So,
I think they had a
but
kill
in this,
cam. I don't think they have replays.
maybe that's what it was. Maybe
Yeah, they
that's
don't
what it
have.
was.
They didn't have replays.
Um, but yeah, it's very like you can tell the difference when it's like the kill cam is lagging or like the player is just straight up like they're level 20 and they're like zipping on you like choo, 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 choo,
Oh, there was
like
the one on
lasers.
you the other day, dude. That guy snapped so hard, it was crazy. I was like, "What the fuck, dude?"
And he's like level 50 and like
Yeah, yeah,
level 50 in this game is like really low, so it's you're still learning the game at that point.
yeah.
um yeah, he's just snapping on people like crazy, so I don't know, that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, that's the part I'm frustrated by is when we do run into hackers and it's obvious, it really ruins a game,
Yeah,
because we could be having a good game and we've killed a squad or we've killed a couple squads and then all of a sudden we run into that hacker who knows exactly where we're standing at any fucking moment. And it's like it's not fun
yeah,
because you're in the house behind cover and he knows exactly where you are, so you don't even know what to do. Like do you run away? Do you try to fight him? Like fighting him feels like a stupid idea, and then it always inevitably always ends in death. So it's a frustrating that's a frustrating element, but it's like all these games have this problem. I mean, cheating happens in League too. It's just it is what it is with multiplayer games, but it's not as bad as it used to be, I guess is what I'll say on it. I
yeah.
remember it being
No,
a lot
that
worse.
it
So
was definitely a lot worse than when we first started or when we were playing back in like 2019.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it's gotten a lot better now.
yep. So cool. Well, yeah, that's what we've been playing. All right, Montreal. Let's move into the news. And yeah, we got the big one today. So this week, yesterday, Nintendo fully revealed Switch 2. They had already done a reveal sort of, in January, but they did the full reveal, showed some games, gave us a release date, announced pricing, which they actually didn't do during the direct, which was funny, but they announced pricing and everything. So let's start with the release date and then get into pricing. These are kind of the most important probably details. So it's coming on June 5th, which is not long, 2 months. So this is in line with the rumor we had heard last week. So I mean, I don't know if there's too much to say here. Really, it kind of makes sense, and it's soon.
Yeah, I'm glad they're not waiting till fall. I'm really glad they're not waiting till fall for this game to come out.
I agree. That would have been fucking miserable, dude. Honestly. So I'm with you. I think it makes sense. And it's kind of about time. Honestly, when we get into the actual direct itself, like it is so clear that they have been holding this for so long because they were showing games at like such a breakneck pace at certain points. It was fucking hilarious. I was like,
Yeah.
because I wasn't watching it live, I was watching it back. So there were parts where I'd see a game that I already know or whatever, and I would like skip forward, do like the 10-second skip on YouTube, and like I skipped to the next game. It's like it took them less than 10 seconds to show each game. It was like fucking. It was actually kind of annoying. I was like, God damn, Jesus! Like they're just blowing through these games. So they had a lot to show, a lot of games to show, which we'll get into. But the biggest controversy here and the thing everybody's talking about is pricing. So let me get through the facts first, and then we'll get into discussion about it. So console is going to be $450 in the US. This is the international pricing, basically, what they're doing. Japan is going to get the console for, I think it was 50,000 yen, I want to say, which is like $330, somewhere around there.
So I did do some research on that. So that one's going to be that I think there's going to be two versions in Japan. There's going to be the international version,
yes,
where it has all the languages. That's going to be a little bit higher.
Yes.
And then there's going to be the Japanese only one, which only has Japanese language on it.
Yes.
So
which they're doing that to protect their Japanese customer base. So yeah. So there's that. Then there's the games. So games are going to be it seems like games are going to be variable pricing. Like there's not really a set price based on what they've told us so far. So Mario Kart, they announced a new Mario Kart game. It has been confirmed that it's going to be $80. If you buy the Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart World, it will be $500. So they're shaving $30 off that if you buy it bundled in with the console. So the digital version of the game is going to be $80. We don't know the physical price. It is rumored to be $90.
Yeah, I heard it was going to be $90. I can't find any definitive.
It's not confirmed.
Proof.
This is not confirmed. Yeah. It's still a rumor, so we don't actually know that for sure yet. They announced a new Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong Bonanza. That game is going to be $70 digital, and I believe this is confirmed, $80 physical.
I didn't see that.
So that might not be confirmed. That might not be confirmed either. But so far, the rumor is that the physical games are going to be more than the digital games, which we'll get into that in a second. So we've got two different first-party games, though, two different prices. So it doesn't seem like we have a set pricing. We'll see as they show more games and release more pricing. I'm assuming most games are going to be more in the $70 bracket, and the $80 thing we'll get into. So there's that. Accessories. I don't have exact pricing for all the accessories, but they're all under $100, I think. $100 for the most part, except for the dock, I think. So they're actually, the accessories don't seem like they're that crazy. I think the Pro controller was $80, which I think that's what it is now. I want to say the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons, I think, are $90 though. Is what they were doing with that. So pricing's pretty high across the board. And this is pretty aggressive from Nintendo, I would say. But Montrell, what are your first thoughts at first blush on this?
I actually don't mind the price of the console itself. That's about where I thought it was going to be. I thought it was maybe a 400, but I thought adjusted for inflation 450, or whatever. Yeah. So that's actually okay for me personally.
Yeah.
And then I think that article that you linked us to as well in the chat, they
Yeah.
said they already kind of adjusted for inflation,
Yeah.
but they kind of got ahead of the tariffs, if that makes any sense. And they're like,
Yeah.
it probably would have been $400, but it's going to be 450 adjusted for the upcoming tariffs, which just happened today. So, yeah, so it's going to probably be 450. I didn't mind that. What I do have a problem with is the games. I don't think none of these games are worth $90. I mean,
Yeah.
85 if you're adjusting for tax, right? So 85 for Mario Kart,
Yeah.
75. I mean, it's already 75 for a PlayStation game anyway. If you buy a PlayStation game off the market, that's like 70 or 69.99, 75 when it hits the market or when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that. But I do mind the $80 price tag. That's crazy. Which also leads me to believe that GTA 6 is going to be $100. I think they're going to try to pull that shit. Um,
Yeah.
I think they're testing the market. In my opinion, Nintendo fans aren't really the best people to, boycott with their wallets. People are going to buy Mario Kart World at $80.
Montrell.
I
Hold
already
on.
see DJ in the chat saying,
Yeah.
he's buying the game. So that's an
Well, I
indication right
mean, if
there.
you're gonna buy the game, just get the bundle, right?
Yeah, just get the bundle.
Just get the bundle. Like,
But I went for the bundle because I know the bundle's not going to be as targeted for pre-orders more than the original, like the 450. People are going to try to
yeah.
go for 450, then they're going to try to go for the 500. So I just went straight for the 500 one. If I sent that link to y'all, didn't I? Where you can register for the list or whatever.
I don't
So
think
you
I
can
can. I don't fit their criteria, dude.
Oh, see, yeah,
Yeah,
I've had
I don't fit their criteria at all. I don't even think I have 50 hours on my Switch in the last year. So,
really.
and I don't have Nintendo Online. I've never had it. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah.
I was still paying for Nintendo Online,
I'm not a Nintendo diehard according to them. So I'm not worthy.
I have more than 50 hours. I got like all my hours on Xenoblade and
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
playing the
yeah.
Astral Chain and stuff. So
Yeah.
I still have enough hours. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I think I'm definitely in the running to get the game or whatever or the console. But yeah. I just think the games are absurd.
Yeah.
I mean the accessories too are crazy, but honestly, PlayStation's accessories are
Nintendo's been crazy with the accessories, dude. Yeah, same with
yeah,
PlayStation. This is not new. I mean,
yeah,
this is like I said, the Pro controller was already $80. I'm pretty sure
yeah,
for Switch. So I mean, okay, so I'll start in the same way. I'll start with the console. I think the console. I think the issue for Nintendo, and this is the perceptively why this is such a problem, is when it's put relative to the current Switch, all this pricing looks crazy.
yes.
Because the current Switch released at $300. It was a
It did?
$300 machine. Yeah,
Holy shit! I
yeah,
didn't
dude.
know that.
So this is
Oh, I
a
forgot that
50.
rather.
This is a 50% price increase. Obviously, it's over 8 years after the original launch of the Switch, and it's a more powerful machine. There's been all sorts of shit that happened. Now, I'm more in the side of like I'm not mad about any of this, frankly, even the game pricing. We've been talking about this on this show for years that these factors are coming into that they are hitting video game companies. We've been talking about budgets and stuff, but we'd also been talking about like inflation is a real thing and it hits games too. And we as gamers, I will say, I think we have actually benefited heavily from kind of restraint from the industry in this one regard with game pricing for almost 20 years, where games have been since the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 came out. We've been in the $60 to $70 range for AAA and new AAA games,
Yeah.
and 20 years is an insanely long time to not really increase your price significantly. Like game prices have not kept up with inflation is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So given that, I think it makes sense that we are now here and Nintendo's trying to do this. This has been kind of an unspoken rule in video games between all the publishers and all the game developers for, like I said, 20 years. There's just been, for some reason, there's been an MSRP that everybody's adhered to, and I can't think of an example of a game ever really breaking it with a standard edition of the game where they're like, hey, our standard edition is $90. I can't remember a single game ever doing that. Maybe there is one, and there might be an example somewhere out there, but I'm trying to
No,
rack
I
my
don't.
brain. I can't remember one,
No,
dude.
they're
So
like $90 is usually for like the gold edition of the game or
exactly,
something
yeah,
like
or you
that.
get the
Yeah,
extra DLC or the digital deluxe or something like that. It's
yeah.
never the base
And,
edition of a game. So
and to be fair, most people do buy that, but you're
yeah,
getting all that content with it, or whatever the case may
which
be.
usually it's junk though, right? Montrell, it's
Yeah,
like an extra mission in Assassin's Creed, or you get like a fucking costume or some dumb bullshit that's useless, you know?
yeah. I
Um,
mean, but that's like a buyer's justification type
yeah.
thing, like not, the opposite of buyer's remorse. It's like I'm trying to really justify that or whatever. So
Or they want to support the game, right? And
yeah,
that's totally like a reasonable way to spend your money, right? So
exactly.
so ultimately where I'm coming from with this is that these price increases, because that article, I want to suggest everybody go read it, because I think this is the best coverage of this situation I've seen from media influencers and otherwise, is on IGN. There's an article by Rebecca Valentine, I think is her name, and she goes and actually asks a whole bunch of economic kind of experts that cover video games. You know, they cover the video game industry, and ask them kind of why this is happening, and they all kind of have different answers. And that's the point ultimately, is there are a lot of factors that are converging here that I think are all happening at the same time, and some of this has to do with the tariffs, right? The tariffs are really bad timing for Nintendo, because they spent the last 4 or 5 years moving their supply chain from China to Vietnam. And then all because Trump in his first term instituted tariffs against China that Nintendo wanted to avoid. So they went to Vietnam. Well, now Trump all of a sudden, boom, 46% tariff against Vietnam. And Nintendo's just like, fuck, you know? So I don't know if it affects them quite yet. I don't know if electronics like, you know, the Switch are included in these tariffs quite yet, but they could at any time, right? So, and it's too late now. Nintendo's invested. They're not going to move their supply chain again. You know, it's like, it is what it is. So they just kind of have to deal with it. So they're building in some of that protection into the price. I think some of this is also inflation. They're trying to catch up with inflation and maintain their profit margin. And I think there's other things where, like, supply chain for them, like manufacturing of the consoles and then the actual cartridges and stuff. I mean, those things have gone up over the last few years. These are all real factors that impact their bottom line. Now, I'm not defending them per se. I'm laying out the facts of what's been going on, just to give people context of why this is happening. Do I agree with it per se? Do I think it's greedy? Maybe. It's aggressive, absolutely. Like, because like I said, relative to the current Switch, these increases are 50% increases in some cases, like with the console itself. And even with Mario Kart, if Mario Kart is 90 as a physical game, that is literally 50% higher than current Switch games, you know, that are $60. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's aggressive. It's absolutely aggressive. And is it justified? I don't know. I mean, this is kind of an eye of the beholder thing, right? For me and Montrell, we can withstand this and it's fine. We're probably going to get the console and buy some games, right? We might buy less games, but we're still going to buy games, right? And it makes you wonder, though, because I think the point you made is that this is definitely an experiment with Nintendo. They're trying something here. They want to see what they can do, because Mario Kart is, you know, we talk about Mario Kart 8 every time we do the Circana, every month, right? It's almost always on the fucking list still for some goddamn reason, you know? It's one of the most popular games that's ever been released, you know? And I don't think it's that great of a game, personally, but who cares what I think? It's fucking, everybody loves it, you know? And people keep buying it and buying it and buying it. So Nintendo's seeing that, and I think they're choosing that game very specifically to test the market barrier of how high they can push the price, because it's very easy for a company to lower the price on something, right? But heightening your price after something's hit the market is generally very difficult to do, and it's, consumers don't meet it with, I mean, think about this now. They're announcing the price now and people are losing their minds. Imagine if they announced the price of the Switch is $400 and then they were like, well, sorry guys, we gotta up it to $450 before the console came out. People would lose their minds even more, you know? So it's so given all that, I think it makes sense that they're trying it with Mario Kart. They want to see, is the game popular enough that they'll continue to get the same volume of sales at a higher price point? And then we may see this down the line from them with different games. The next Zelda, the next Mario 3D Mario game, you could see that with. And it's probably only going to be certain games that are very specifically super popular, like Animal Crossing and shit like that, and then the games that they think are more middling, the more middling games that aren't going to sell crazy, crazy numbers are probably going to be in that $70 price bracket where Donkey Kong is right now. And I certainly see that. The thing that's interesting about this for me, though, this is not in the context of Nintendo, but the wider industry. To your point about GTA, because remember, we had that rumor about GTA. They were thinking about doing $100 for GTA 6. I don't know if they're going to quite go there, but they're definitely going to go higher than base MSRP. I'm pretty confident about that now, for sure. Because why not? They're the most popular game on the planet, literally, so if they can't do it, then no one can, right? So they're going to be the ultimate barometer, I think, for this, because I think they're going to try it too, for sure. And that will be interesting because it's separated from Nintendo. They're not releasing their game on Switch, right? GTA 6 more than likely is not going to come out on Switch too. And if it does, it will be probably a year or two down the line in some reduced form. So that to me is what I'm waiting for. I want to see how other companies react. Does Sony try this with their games? Does Xbox try this with their games? Probably not. But do some of the publishers, like does EA try this with Madden or EA Sports FC? Very popular sports games that people just eat up. It's like this is an opportunity for them now. Maybe did they start trying to test the barriers too? And I think Nintendo might be breaking something here, breaking something open, and it's going to be interesting that it's Nintendo doing this, because they're not usually the ones. I don't know. I mean, they've done this in the past, but they're usually it's weird. It's usually not this stark, of a change for them. So I'm just interested in it from that perspective, because I think we've talked about in the past game pricing going up. And that, when the console came out, when PS5 and Xbox Series came out, we talked about it back then, that $70 is $70 even enough, with inflation and everything going on and all with COVID at the time and things like that. Was that even enough to sustain these companies? And with the bigger budgets that these games have, how are they going to sustain that necessarily if they want to? The only way to do that is at a certain point is to charge more money. It's either you get more players and you get more customers, or you charge more money, or you do some combination of both, or you have more in-game microtransactions to sell maybe to your existing player base. Like those are your ways to increase revenue, So I'm just going to be very interested to see how the rest of the industry kind of reacts off of this personally. I don't know how you feel about all that, but.
No, I mean, I agree with the most. I think the other side to this, right? I agree that we've been saved or spared rather with inflation. I just don't think it should be this much. I think if it was like a $5 increase or something like that, cool. I think the inflation mainly comes from the inflated budgets of the games, in my opinion.
That's
I don't think
true
these
as
games.
well.
I don't think the games need to be the budgets have been inflated or
But
need to be inflated.
to be fair, Nintendo's not a culprit of that.
So that yes, and then but why are the games $80? You see what I'm saying?
They want to protect the profit margin, right?
Yeah. I mean, those lawyers don't cost that. I mean, those lawyers cost a lot of money.
And that's the other side of this, right? This is a capitalist. These are capitalist businesses, right? They're always trying to make more and more and more and more and more. So this is a natural thing that's always going to happen at some point. Is they need to make more and more and more and more. Eventually, you're going to have to increase your prices to do that, right?
Yes. So my other part to this, right, is this has the potential to be one of the biggest blunders in console history.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is there are three things. Now, they didn't necessarily do this, but someone said, and I kind of agree, that Nintendo's entering their Xbox One era. And I'm like, what the fuck do they mean by that? And they're advertising that camera with the Switch and everything. and that's what the Xbox One did. Now the
Yeah.
difference between the Xbox One
Yeah.
and the Switch, Xbox prioritized video or like cable and sports and stuff like that
Non-gaming
over
features. Yeah.
non-gaming features. With the Switch, they did prioritize gaming features, but let's be honest, when you saw that, and I'll be the first one to admit it, I'm like, wow, I actually commend them for showing like the 12 FPS video feed.
Bro, yeah. Oh my god.
I commend them for that. I commend them. They didn't hide
dude,
it.
They didn't hide it. They did not hide it. And I was laughing my ass off, bro. I was like, are we serious right now? What are we doing, dude? Like,
I commend them for it because I saw it. I was like, "Hey, no way,
dude!"
Ain't
When
no
they
way.
were showing the game, they were sharing the game. Like the game was literally running like it was on an N64 or something. Like I was like, "Oh no!" Like you could see the frames. Oh boy! I was like, "Yikes, man!"
So
And then the grainy ass camera where they're like, "You're fucking super pixelated."
Yeah, so I commend them for just showing it, just like getting it out there. I commend them for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Spend $100 on this camera that makes you look like a fucking fuzzball. Like I don't.
Makes you look like 360p YouTube.
Yeah,
Remember
dude.
that shit?
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro.
Remember how excited we were? We got 360p on YouTube.
Yeah,
that shit was crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So that's why I don't think it's gonna go in that direction, right? But now this is where the perfect storm comes in my opinion. We're dealing with the tariffs, obviously, and everything. The economy is in an unusual spot, right? It's too unpredictable. It reminds me of. I don't think the price is as egregious as a PS3, but I can see people making that comparison. Remember when the PS3 came out and it was $600 fucking dollars, like crazy shit, right? And has the micro SD Express.
Oh,
if you look on Amazon right now, it's $200 for that.
That's bad,
and that
bro.
reminds me of what? The Vita.
Yeah.
And that could be a huge contingency point for a lot of people.
For the smallest one, the 256 gig one, it's $50 for one of those.
Yeah.
So Nintendo forcing people to upgrade their micro SD cards is like, because nobody has them, right? If you have a Switch today, because you don't need them. Like they probably don't even work in the normal Switch, you know? So it's like, that was an interesting choice, I thought.
Yeah, so I understand they want the read-write speeds to be faster, and I from a technological side, I understand that, but from the average consumer, they don't get that, right?
I know, but that's crazy for Nintendo, isn't it? They never do that shit.
These cards aren't specifically made for the Nintendo, right?
No. But the micro SD Express is relatively new thing. Like, I don't think they've been out that long. Like, they're not. So, and they're still super expensive. So to tie your console to that for storage is kind of interesting. Even though I know like the console comes with storage, and I guess we can get into that. But it's definitely an interesting choice.
It is an interesting choice. So. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't think it's as egregious as both of those consoles because with the Vita, it was proprietary. But with the micro express SD, you can put that into other things like your computer, your fucking, your camera, your digital camera, if you're like a photographer or something of that nature. Yeah. So it does have other functionalities outside of the Nintendo Switch. So I those two things, and like I said, I don't think the pricing of the console is as egregious as like the PS3 when it came out. Now, if it came out and they're like $550 for the for the Switch and then $600 for the bundle, then I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are not going to make it. This is the death of the console. Yeah. So I don't think, like I said, it has a potential depending on how bad the economy gets. It has a potential, but me personally, I don't think it's there yet, but it could get there.
Yeah, and to your point, so the article that I referenced, the IGN article, a couple of the experts mentioned they think it's going to be fine for the first year of this console's lifespan, that there's enough fanatics that will just buy it no matter what the price is, that it won't impact them. But they are curious how year 2 and beyond will go, because that's going to be the real test of this price. is, yeah, sure, there's probably 15 million people who are going to buy it no matter what the price is, but are there as many per year as there were for the Switch that are going to buy this? Because I mean, the Switch took off because families adopted it, right? Like, families with their kids significantly adopted the console. I don't know if that's going to happen here at this price point, especially given the fact that the Switch still exists. This isn't like it's a new device that didn't exist before. They still have
Yeah.
the Switch if they want it, and Nintendo's presumably still releasing certain games on the original Switch too. So this could be a slow roll where like we have a kind of like a quick blast off, and then you kind of taper off, and the console sales maybe plateau a little bit for a while because because if you're a parent, it's like, dude, 450 for this thing is, and yeah, 500 with the game. That's a lot, dude, for a family. Like, that's a lot of money, man, for a family. I feel like it's one of those things where you're almost pricing out the people who made you what you are now with the Switch. And that's a huge risk. The enthusiasts are the enthusiasts, and they're eventually going to buy it, I think, like us.
Mhm.
But I think that's a huge concern, right? Because
I,
think about the
what I
Wii, right? The Wii exploded in a similar way. Why? Because it was $250. It was cheap, at the
Yeah,
time,
that's
especially
true.
relative to the competition with Sony, which, as you mentioned, was $600, and then even Xbox was 450, I think,
Yep.
or 400. So that is an advantage that Nintendo's had this generation too. These last two generations, the Switch at 300 is cheaper than anything that Sony and Microsoft have released. Obviously except for the Xbox Series S, which nobody cares about. So it's like that is an interesting wrinkle to this that I'm gonna be interested to see how it plays out too, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think, because I've been thinking about it the last couple of days, and I think they have a little bit too much dip on their chip, and the reason I think that is because like now I think they're trying to say like, oh, now we can compete with like the Xbox and the PlayStation for third party titles, and
Yeah,
I'm actually glad during that. I mean, we'll get into it, but like during that um presentation, they show a lot of third party content or whatever,
yeah,
and it looks
yeah.
like third party support is back on the Switch, or for Nintendo in
For
general,
now,
but
yeah,
for now. But the problem is, those are all old games we saw. Everyone has those games already, in my opinion. A lot of
yeah,
those games, a lot of
yeah,
we already have. Um, so I'm not. Me personally, like if I didn't buy the game already, maybe this is an opportunity for me to get it on the Switch because I can play it on the go or whatever the case may be, right?
yeah, yeah.
But we also have to factor in too. Uh, Xbox is coming out with a portable system next year,
And so
so
is Sony
and so is
reportedly.
Sony.
Yeah,
Exactly. So however they gauge their thing, uh, is really dependent. And I can also see, now this is gonna be the positive side to that, the positive side of capitalism in that regard, right? That may cause Nintendo to be like, all right, now we have to start lowering our prices. 375, or I'm sorry, was it 450, 500? 450 for the premium bundle, and then 400 for the regular bundle, or whatever the case may be. They start adjusting, just to stay competitive and stuff of that nature. So that could happen next year. And that's why I predict may happen next year. I think, like you said, the enthusiasts were going to buy it for 500, 550, or 450 rather, because I do really want to get off the Switch, the original Switch platform
yeah,
or whatever. And so do you. So we
yeah,
may buy it for that price just to get off of the platform. I think Switch also is doing the PS4, the PS5 angle as well. There are still a lot of games that we saw so far that are coming out just
on
for
both.
both consoles or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
including Metroid,
including
which is a big
Metroid.
one. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that's a significant. I think they're going to support the Switch for maybe one more year. I can see one more year, and then they're like, "All right, that's it," because
yeah.
they're pretty fast with like ending support with their stuff
Well,
or whatever.
yeah, it's true, but that's because the consoles have never been compatible with each other up
True.
until this
Up
is
until
the first time since the GameCube,
yeah,
and the Wii. So, and that was such a significant jump that I don't think Nintendo wanted to continue to. And it's not like the GameCube was successful either. So, this is kind of a unique situation for Nintendo since like the 90s, I would say, probably, where
yeah,
it's like, yeah, I could see them supporting it longer because the install base is still 150 million, dude. It's like It's shit. It's still worth releasing games on it. So I don't know. I could see it
In
dragging
in
out
my
actually.
opinion, though, I think they should drop the price and just kind of eat the loss for the first year. I think it would be way more better
Yeah,
for them to
they
do
don't want
that.
to do that, but I kind of agree with you. I don't know. I'm just thinking about the family thing. Like, I think the adoption rate could be a lot lower than they're expecting.
It's definitely going to be a lot lower than what they're expecting. I don't think we I mean, maybe we were wrong. Maybe Christmas comes. Maybe Trump undoes the tariff, and then the other countries kind of slow down their tariffs and everything on that nature. And then by Christmas, everyone's in a okay spot where families can do that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I just can't see a family right now dropping $500 for the
Well,
Switch.
the other aspect to this that I do think is interesting though is if Nintendo is going to increase their prices this much for games, I wonder if the traditional, you know, the getting Nintendo games don't go down in price thing maybe kind of eats away a little bit, where they actually do start going down in price somewhat. Maybe not to the extent that Xbox and PlayStation games do, but where like the $80 game though does go down to $60 after a few months, and it's maybe more
I can
affordable.
I can definitely see. I was saying that, but people online were kind of like arguing against me, like, "When does
Dude,
Nintendo ever drop their prices?" And I'm
dude,
like, "You're right, but
moments like this are where I hate reading Reddit. The certainty with which people exclaim, like, "Oh my god, $80! Nintendo never reduces the price of their games either. This is fucking horrible." It's like, bro, you don't know that. Like, why do people talk about the future like it's fucking
look, because
written and chiseled in concrete? It's
they
like,
go off like the previous
yeah,
thing, and
yes,
and to their point, they to be fair, I mean, Breath of the Wild is still like $40, $50 like
sure,
used or something like that,
sure,
right?
but it's lower.
It
And
is
it's like
lower, but it's like
when
a
you increase the
$60
price,
game.
there's more room for that to lower, to me, for Nintendo to find that acceptable. Is my
Yeah,
my thought
I mean,
process.
I agree with you. I think they are going to be more susceptible to summer sales and all that stuff like that.
Yeah,
In my opinion,
yeah.
I can't. Me personally, I can't see them just keeping it at like $100 or let's say
$90
Mario Kart
fucking dollars for
yeah,
Mario
Mario
Kart.
Kart
Yeah,
physical is $90. I can see it dropping down to $70 easily.
yeah,
I don't think that's a loss, a huge loss over that, right?
yeah.
Um, that's why I think your install base is 150 million. I don't know how much it costs to make the console, but I can't see it being a huge loss saying, okay, how about we go 389 for the base model and
Yeah.
maybe 450 for the,
Or
Mario,
425. Yeah,
yeah,
or
425 for the bundle or whatever the case. I think that's more acceptable because like you are around that price point now of like the $300 Switch when it first came out. Like you're
yeah,
still that
yeah,
3 in front of even though it's 389.99, we know it's going to come out to be at the taxes 425 or whatever, right? We already
yeah,
know that, but
yeah.
that still entices people to buy the game, and it's not like like I me personally, I don't know, man. Like I think the price is going to drop significantly after the first year. That's what I think. I think once they see that a lot of people aren't going to really go for it
Well,
because I
yeah.
mean, yeah, you have your first party titles, but you have niche first party titles. Like I'm excited for Daymax Machina, and a lot of mech fans are excited for that. But like, how many
That's a
normies are going to be
niche
excited
game,
for?
though. That's a
Yeah,
niche game. Yeah,
how many normies are going to be excited for Metroid? Yeah, Metroid is a kind of a household name now, but it's like
but nobody
how
buys it.
many nobody buys it exactly, right?
Yeah,
Mario Kart is your only big one that
heavy.
people like go
Yeah,
out their way to buy, and I don't think I think you done so much for Mario Kart 8 that Mario Kart World is not going to be able to live up to that hype, in my opinion.
yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, let's save that. We'll get there. But
yeah, yeah. So
well, so yeah, I think you're making good points. I do, you're reminding me of when you remember when Nintendo released the 3DS,
yes,
because you remember what the price point of it originally? It was like $280 or 270 or something like that.
was it that expensive? Jesus
Yes, it
Christ!
was more. It was more expensive than the Vita. I'm pretty sure. And you remember how disastrous that was for Nintendo? Do you remember that period? Like, it was a really short
Yeah.
time frame, but
I
dude,
actually, I don't remember. I just remember the Vita being like really.
Well,
really
dude,
disastrous.
well, okay, so this was a brief period in time, and people can
Yeah,
go look.
yeah,
People can go look this up, but the Vita came out at 250, and the thing that did the Vita in was the memory cards, right? That
yes,
you
yep,
mentioned with the proprietary memory cards. But when it launched, there was a lot of hype around the Vita because it was a
yep,
very powerful handheld at the time, like super
mm,
powerful. It was literally a PS3 in your fucking hands,
yeah,
which was crazy. This is 2012 when the PS4 was not even out yet. It hadn't even been announced. So you're talking about a handheld that's as powerful as current gen hardware. The Vita was crazy. So the 3DS came out though the same year, and Nintendo was really aggressive with pricing on it. It was north of 250, I remember, and it was disastrous for Nintendo. Nobody was buying 3DSs, like, because it was a Wii to Wii U situation, sort of. People already had the DS, and Nintendo was still supporting the DS, so nobody bought the 3DS because they didn't feel like it was necessary, and also the price was too high. Nintendo recognized that the price was too high, and they remember this happened after it wasn't that long. It was 6 to 9 months, I think, after the 3DS launched. They reduced the price to $170. They literally reduced the price by almost a third, like $100 price decrease, in order to save the device, and it did save the device. The 3DS became a fucking household name, and everybody was buying it. It was in its one of their most successful handhelds over the course of its lifespan, and then they ended up burying the fucking Vita. But I think people forget that happened, right? And this, I mean, to your point, this could be a similar situation if this does not launch the way Nintendo's hoping, and this doesn't have the kind of rocket ship launch that the Switch had, which is what they're hoping for. Maybe you could see a price decrease pretty quickly, and they actually do eat some cost because they're like, we just got to get units out in people's hands. And I could totally see that happening too. So there's a lot of different things that could go down. The only other thing I wanted to mention too is on the price of the console. I think the other thing is I think Nintendo was almost emboldened by what Sony did with the PS5 Pro, because the PS5 Pro is 700, and that didn't affect the console at all. It's selling perfectly fine. The Pro. As far as we've heard, it's selling as well or better than the PS4 Pro, which was actually priced very competitively back in the day for $400 when the console was 300. So I think Nintendo also saw that and saw an opportunity to maybe push the price up a little bit, that people are more willing to spend higher for high quality electronics than we think. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of factors. I think it makes sense. Do I agree with it necessarily? Are the games worth it? Again, that's in the eye of the beholder. Certain games, like for me, off hype, I'd probably buy Mario Kart at launch. I'm probably gonna get the bundle, but like even the Donkey Kong game we'll get into is like, that might be worth it at 72. But I'm not a big Nintendo person anymore, and I'm probably going to buy less games than I do now, on Nintendo, and that's probably going to be true for a lot of people, is what I think with the pricing. So, we'll see. Montrell, anything else you want to say on the price?
nope.
Okay, let's get into the actual presentation. They started with Mario Kart. That was the first thing they showed. Mario Kart World. And ooh, I actually got kind of hyped. I'm not gonna lie. um, because what game does this remind you of, Montrell?
Uh,
Maybe
I
you
guess
didn't play it.
Forza.
No, what? Maybe you didn't play it. No, I'm thinking on the N64.
Oh, Diddy Kong Racing.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. That is the first game I thought of when they were showing this, and because it's an open world Mario Kart game, basically. Like there's like that's what it looks like. Is what the way they presented it is, you can travel around the world freely. Now, the question I have that they did not answer is like, is there a story mode where you like drive around and you got to go to different places and like you can explore the island and all this stuff? I'm assuming there is. And if that is true, if there is, man, I think I'm all in on this, dude. This is exactly what I'm looking for in a kart racer. I love the kart racing aspect of the game and playing multiplayer and all that, but it's like that's not enough to keep me. I don't like, our friend group doesn't play Mario Kart that deeply, so
yeah.
but if you give me a story mode that's robust and I have a giant open world to explore with my kart, I'm kind of in. I don't know about you. How do you feel?
I am not a big open world racer guy. that's just I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't see the point. I don't know. That's just me though. I understand a lot of people like, yeah, I'm just like,
I mean, dude, I love
whatever.
Diddy Kong Racing. Okay, Diddy Kong
I did
Racing
love
is
I did
awesome.
love Diddy Kong Racing a lot,
Yeah,
but I think I'm just past that phase of like
it took us
kart
30 years to
racers.
get this. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you mean. I know what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so yeah, that's just me. So every time I see Mario Kart, I'm just like, oh, it's a for me, it is a party game. But I don't like you said, I don't really outside of you and maybe DJ. But unfortunately, we're grown people, so we can't get together and just play the game
Yeah,
like we want
we'd have
to.
to play
And I
online, right?
yeah, we have to play online. I don't get the feeling like I would like to play those type of games couch like next to each other. We all have a day where we just play those games
Yeah,
next to each other because
yeah,
I don't really get the feeling like online. Like you know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense, that's just
yeah,
me though.
yeah.
Um,
Well, maybe
so
the
yeah,
Switch 2 gets us to do that because I mean, we got Mario Party as well, and I love Mario Party. So
and the Switch, you don't. Everyone doesn't have to have the game to play it now. So that is a
that's
very
cool.
that's a really cool aspect to the game, which I will say may add to the price of why they're doing this. You
That's
know,
true.
so
That is true. That is a big
yeah,
feature.
so but yeah, I don't know. I was just like, oh my god, Mario Kart, whatever, get the fuck out of here, like type
Really?
shit. So
Okay. I thought it looked
yeah,
good, man. I think after Mario Kart 8, because Mario Kart 8 became Mario Kart Ultimate over the course of its life, where like every track from every game is almost in it with all the DLC or whatever.
yeah,
And it's kind of like, where do you go from there? You have to radically change the formula, in my opinion. Like, and that's kind of what they're doing here. It's not just a game with a bunch of racetracks. Like, it's actually got more to it. It's a little bit more robust. So I'm intrigued, certainly. I'll be happy to play this game with you guys for sure. Even online, you know, I think I'd be down to do this as well. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm probably gonna get the bundle with it anyways, so I'm probably gonna get this game no matter what. Ultimately, but I don't know. I think it looked good. For what I've come to know Mario Kart as and my feelings on it, I was actually impressed. So personally, but um, okay, next thing they showed was the chat feature, this new chat feature. So they built Discord into the Nintendo Switch 2 for some reason. Like, I don't
so
really understand why Nintendo.
is it proprietary Discord or
It
is it
is.
actual
Yes.
Discord?
Yes, it's Nintendo's version of Discord. Like, why
Oh my god,
I don't really understand why they feel the need to reinvent the wheel, you know? Like,
yeah, just use Discord, bro. Maybe they
I
just
don't
didn't want to
know.
pay
Yeah,
Discord.
I don't understand. They don't want to pay the money, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
Cuz
for me. It's not too much to say about it. It's it's cool. It's cool. Yes.
yeah.
I am glad that they're making the Switch 2 more social. That was my biggest contingency point with the Switch 1, that
Yeah.
it wasn't an online social thing. It was very social as far as like, you know, we get together because like believe it or not, y'all, me and Justin played the Switch a lot next to each other.
Yeah, in person. Yeah.
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 But when it came to like us playing online, like especially Monster Hunter Generations, we were playing with me, you, and Andy. We had to use like a third party
It
app.
was so awkward.
It
Yeah.
was
It
super
was so
awkward.
awkward.
So I am glad they're improving their social aspect, but also why not just have Discord? Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe they'll add Discord later on where they're like people like, you know, your chat function fucking sucks ass. Like just put Discord in here or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nintendo's very stubborn.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and their whole little thing where the four people were like, it's just so, it's so Nintendo, bro. I'm like,
First of all,
nobody talks like this when they play games,
yeah,
man.
and not to harp on us, right? No one's this good looking. Like,
No, I know, right? I know. They pick four people and they're all looking fucking. They look great, you know. All of them, like, bro, they're all wearing makeup. They got nice clothes on. Like, one of them had a button down. Like, one of the girls had a button down on in her apartment. I'm like, bro, Nintendo, this is not how this is. Okay, I don't sit around in my jeans in my fucking work polo playing video games. Okay, like, you know, obviously,
like out of
yeah,
all
go
of our
ahead.
friend group, right? I think the
Yeah.
only model person is like Dennison.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess-
for sure, for sure. But I was just laughing about the dress, you know, where like they're all wearing jeans or like slacks or nice things. There was like the black guy wearing the fuck. He's the only one that was wearing a hoodie.
Like,
You know,
yeah.
I'm like, come on, man, really? Like, so yeah, I don't know. It's just it was funny because it's like I'm thinking about what really is happening in these situations where like the women are like naked in their bra, not even in their bra, or whatever, and the dudes are fucking their fucking underwear with a shirt on, or whatever. It's
Yeah,
like
that's realistic gaming right there,
yeah,
baby.
yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, but obviously Nintendo can't show that in
Yeah,
a
obviously,
Switch
but they
advertisement.
but they should though.
But
But like,
it's just funny though. It is just funny to like watch this and be like, yeah, this is not what's happening, Nintendo. But you can think
I
that.
I am surprised though that they finally acknowledge that adults are playing their games. For
Yeah,
the longest, they
true.
I think they assumed that kids were playing their games, and like
Yeah,
now they're like, yeah, adults are playing the game right now or whatever. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
I, I do like that in the grand scheme of things.
Yep. So then they went through features of the device, dimensions like a bigger screen. There's a mic built in, up to 120 FPS. It's an LCD, unfortunately, no OLED. There's a new stand that's a lot more flexible. The storage, so 256 gig storage built in instead of 32, which is obviously a big increase,
Huge.
but still kind of behind the times. Like, come on, man,
Yeah.
you couldn't have just gone
Yeah.
to 512. Like, Jesus Christ. Well,
I
because think
bet
about
you
it.
I bet you would have cost like an extra $20 and then it'll be like an extra $40 for us.
Not even, dude. Yeah, not even, dude. Like, and it's like, yeah, it's like give us the extra space because then the micro SD card issue wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
512 gigs for Nintendo would be plenty. Like, I don't think you would need anything else. Personally, so I don't know. Yeah, that was just them being stubborn. They showed the Joy Cons and some changes with that. They're magnetic rather than being kind of on those rails, the plastic rails that are on the Switch now. So that's a little different. So there's some cool stuff. The console definitely looks better. It's not like anything to go crazy about. I'm not like losing my mind over it or anything like that. But there are some cool changes. They did some innovations. It's
Okay.
you know
Okay, I do want to retract one statement.
yeah.
They just released like an hour ago 20-minute gameplay of Mario Kart, and okay, I'm on board with the game. It looks really
Oh
fucking
yeah.
cool. I didn't know you can
Okay.
grind on walls and drive on the wall and shit like that. That's fucking cool as
Yeah.
fuck.
Oh yeah. That was part of the. Yeah. There was that the game. Yeah, there was a point where Mario was like jumping between walls in the middle of a race.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it was
yeah,
pretty dope. That's pretty
and
dope.
yeah. So it seems like movement is maybe a little bit more. There's a little bit more going on there. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it looks
Um.
good.
Yeah, like one feature I am, unless I missed it, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I did not hear anything about Bluetooth, which means we're going to buy fucking headphones again for the goddamn Switch. And I'm
Yeah,
fucking
bro.
irritated by that shit.
Yep.
Dude. That was the one feature I'm like, please, God, just say Bluetooth, please, please, please,
Yeah.
please. No Bluetooth mentioned. So maybe it has it, maybe it doesn't, but
Yeah.
I pray to God it has it, man. I just
Yeah.
want Bluetooth on my Switch, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Then after that, they started going into games. They showed Mario Party again, and this was really frustrating because they're adding a bunch of shit to Mario Party Jamboree, and it's like it's all this gimmicky bullshit with their new accessories, And I'm like, bro, why is Mario Party this dumping ground for like motion control bullshit? It's like, come on, man. Mario Party's better than that. Stop doing this, Nintendo. Like, it's just frustrating because if you're gonna add content to the game, like what I want is like I want more boards. I want more like normal mini games that are actually fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Okay, so I did look it up. It does have Bluetooth. It has better improved Bluetooth, which is
Okay,
which is good. Okay.
good.
But yeah, so no, I agree. Oh no, did my thing freeze?
You're
Are you
good.
still there?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
Yeah. Sometime when I'm switching in between stuff, it freezes.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, I agree with you though.
Yep. And then they showed some enhanced stuff for Zelda, both Zelda games, Kirby Forgotten Land. Then they showed a new game. And okay, how did you feel about this one? What is this one even called? I don't even remember what it's called. The one with the robots that look like they're in wheelchairs playing basketball.
I didn't know how to feel about that. I thought it was
Yeah.
a cool concept, but I'm not a guy in a wheelchair, so I don't know if that's offensive or not.
I don't
It
know either, dude. I didn't know how
it,
to
it looks
react to it.
yeah. I was like, this is a cool concept. Like this is actually really. To me, it was like a really cool looking game. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not a guy in a wheelchair, so I don't know if I should be
Yeah.
offended
Yeah.
or they're like, yeah, finally we got some representation in games,
Yeah.
or they're
Yeah.
like, this is like a mockery of us. So
Yeah.
I actually, I don't know. Just I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about it either. I mean, it didn't look bad. Like it looks kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, I would play it. Like
Um.
I'm like, okay, this is kind of
Oh,
fucking cool. But
Drag X Drive, Drag Drive. I don't know how to say the title, but that's the title of the game. So,
so
but
my only thing with the mice though is like, I gotta have a table to play on this shit now. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, you could just get like a fold out tray or something, where you put like
yeah,
food on or something. I love the fact that you can use the Joy Cons as mice. That is a really cool thing built into the console that unlocks a whole genre of game for Nintendo. Like because we saw Civ later on. You can play the game the way it's
true,
meant to be played,
true. Yeah,
rather than
that's
the weird janky console controls that they
maybe you
do.
can Bluetooth a keyboard too, and
Yep.
you
Yep.
can do that. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean,
So
I didn't think about that. That's actually a good point. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
was
there's
kind
some
of iffy on
interesting.
the mice thing, but that makes a lot of sense.
Well,
Yeah,
if Nintendo actually had like MMOs on their game too, like there's a whole genres of games, like you could
Xenoblade
put fucking
Chronicles
League
X.
on Switch actually, dude.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
that would be interesting.
They could put the Wild Rift on there first, and then they
Like,
could put
dude,
like action.
Riot's got to be hitting Nintendo up like, "Hey, yo, let's do something." Or yeah, Wild Rift at least, right?
Yeah,
So that's a cool because it's again, it's part of the console. This is a difference, right? Obviously, the consoles we have are compatible. You can put a mouse into the PlayStation, right, and it works. Same with the Xbox. But like it's an accessory though. You have to go buy purposefully. Whereas this is literally built into the console. You get it at base. So that changes everything because that unlocks the game. That makes the game viable that isn't today.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's actually like a low key huge feature to me. I don't know if it will result in anything we're talking about necessarily, but it could. It's all potential there now. So after that we went through all the games on other consoles coming to this. Elden Ring, which is interesting. Hades 2, Street Fighter. Then they showed the new Daemon X Machina game, which I'm assuming you're excited about.
Yeah.
It actually looks really sick. Like it looks
Yeah,
heavily
I
improved
thought
from
it
the
was
first
gonna be
game.
I thought it was Vanquish 2. That's what it looked like,
Yeah,
Vanquish, and then yeah, it was Demon
yeah,
X Machina. So it
but
looks very improved looks like they have a bigger budget. So
yeah,
I'm glad. Yeah.
yeah. Because it's called. Is this the one that was called Arsenal? But it's a Daemon X Machina game, right?
No, it's just called Demon X Machina. Both of them are called Demon X Machina.
No. This new one. Am I forget? Am I looking at the
Are
wrong
you talking about the
game?
name of the actual mech
Oh,
itself?
Titanic Scion. Okay, so the Arsenal thing is just what they're called. Okay, what the
Yeah,
mechs are
yeah,
called. Okay, yeah, it's Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion is the name of the game.
yeah.
So, I don't think they gave a release date though. Oh, they did.
No, it did.
September
In
5th. September 5th.
September. Yeah.
Yep. Split Fiction's coming to it. Madden's coming to it. EA Sports FC's coming to it. I think Hogwarts Legacy's coming to it. Tony Hawk is coming to it. What else we get? Hitman. And the 007 game. This was a little kind of sneaky reveal in the middle of there. We knew this game existed, but I don't think we've seen anything from this game
No,
yet.
we still haven't seen anything from it. So
So that was a
I
sneaky little thing they put in there.
I will say out of all the games, man, like they really do look really good. I don't know.
Mhm.
A lot of people were kind of hating on it, but I think the games look for a portable console. These games
Yeah.
look fucking awesome, dude. Like
Yeah.
to be honest with you,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think pretty impressed. Bravely Default getting a remaster, which is cool. That's coming on launch day. The Yakuza 0 is coming
Yep, coming.
as well. So bunch of old games. Then they revealed a new game, which this was a troll job, I thought, with the Zelda game. They're doing a Hyrule Warriors 2. I'm sure people were probably some people were excited, but I'm sure at the same time, I was sitting there watching this and was like, oh, is this a new Zelda game? And it's like, wait, is this a Zelda game where you control Zelda instead of Link? And no, it's a Hyrule Warriors game. So be excited, I guess. I don't know. You don't have any interest in that, right?
I was. It looks pretty interesting. I mean, I might. I didn't play Hyrule Warriors 1,
Yeah.
so I might go back and play it actually and buy it.
Mhm.
But I guess I mean I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Agreed.
I really wanted a Zelda game, like
Yeah.
a full fledged like we play as Zelda,
Same. Yep.
or we play as like Zelda's alternate alter ego Sheik or something like that. That's what I
Yep.
really want.
Yep.
I really want them to go back to like I really want to see like in Ocarina of Time what Sheik was doing that entire time while you were doing your thing. And I just think that's like an unexplored
There's a whole game there for sure.
There's a whole
Yeah.
game they did not explore.
Yeah. Well, because remember, Sheik was not like Link just wakes up and it's 7 years in the future, right?
Yeah.
Sheik lived like Zelda lived her entire life through those 7 years,
Exactly.
So there's a whole bunch of shit that you could do in there, right? Probably.
Yeah. And that's what I really wanted. When I saw this version of Zelda, I'm like, okay, they're doing like, while Link was asleep. And I'm like, I think that's cool, but then they turn into like a Warriors game. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I really just want, like you said, like a full-fledged Zelda game, and everything like that. But I don't think the world is ready for that yet, unfortunately. So I don't know.
I guess not. Yeah.
A Legend of Zelda game with actually Zelda playing. Who would have thought? Like,
Well, they did it with the Echoes of Wisdom last year, right?
But that wasn't a fucking. That was a puzzle
always,
game.
It's always like a chibi little fucking. It's not like a true Zelda game. It's always like a fucking weird little side game or whatever.
Yeah, like the last time we got to play Zelda.
Question mark.
I think the last time we had to play Zelda in like an actual Zelda game was Spirit Tracks. Either Spirit Tracks or like
yuck. Oh my god.
It was another one that was on the 3DS. And you can actually use like her fucking like clones and or her ghosts that she throw out in like
Phantom Hourglass?
Phantom Hourglass. There you go.
Which that game is fucking horrible, bro. I hate that game. Oh my god. Miserable.
It's probably the reason why I forgot about it. But yeah, Phantom Hourglass.
Oh my fucking god.
Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass are fucking terrible. But
they were ass.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just really want her to have her own like action game or action adventure game. And I think like you said, I think Ocarina of Time is just ripe for the picking. Like, just give it to the right studio if you don't want to do it.
Go back to it, bro. And you could like expand it and shit, like do all sorts of crazy shit with it, right? Obviously, making that game now, you would have to like redesign the world and everything and modernize it and stuff. But I'd be kind of hype, man. That would be hype. That would get me back into Zelda, even if it's not like a Zelda game where you're, the way we wanted, those games to be, where there's dungeons and shit. Like if Zelda's the protagonist and you're actually playing as Zelda, obviously the game's going to be different, right? So I think I'd be a lot more willing to accept that walking in. So I don't know. Yeah. Damn. It's maybe someday, Montrell. We'll get that before we die.
Yeah.
Okay, so next thing. This was the hypest moment of the entire thing, okay? We're getting GameCube games on Nintendo Classics.
Actually, yes.
Like,
this is why I've had
GameCube games.
So everyone's like, "Why do you still have your Nintendo Online?" And I have the actual expansion pack. So I've been playing like my 64 games and shit, like in my Game Boy Advance games. So that's why I have it, because I was that guy. I was like, I'm just gonna play it on my Nintendo Switch. Yeah. So I've been doing that for like a couple of years, for about a year since they announced it.
Okay.
But yeah, I am finally, thank the heavens, man. Thank the Nintendo lawyers, right? Because that's who ultimately did this. You gotta give them a hand. Shutting down all those ROM sites.
Yeah.
We're finally getting it 64
GameCube.
GameCube games, right? So I looked at the list, right? And this is like a direct attack on all the fucking scalpers out there, right?
Yeah.
We did Path of Radiance. They showed Path of Radiance.
Dude, that's the second game in the fucking list. You got Mario Sunshine, and then you have Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I was like, bro, the Fire Emblem Reddit is losing their mind right now. They're probably actually mad. Like, no joke. Like, because we have been speculating about a Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, remake, remaster, dual pack for fucking years now. And I don't think it's happening because they're putting it in this. But the problem is, this is the issue, Montrell, is Radiant Dawn is a Wii game. So we aren't going to get the sequel. Unless they remaster it. So this actually kind of sucks for Fire Emblem fans because I wanted the dual pack where you put both games together, you remaster them a little, put some extra features maybe, and call it a day.
Yeah.
And you charge $60 and we would have been super happy, right? This way, man, I don't know, dude. I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't know actually. Because Path of Radiance is the first of 2 games. So it's like, and the second game is a Wii game, so I don't know how we're gonna get that second game, because if you're gonna give people this one, I almost feel like you have to give them Radiant Dawn in some form.
You have to give them Radiant Dawn, yeah.
And,
I mean, maybe they do a remaster of it.
Just Radiant Dawn, maybe.
Just Radiant Dawn,
I could see that. That would be disappointing, I would say. I would rather them do both games together, but I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. As long as they're both accessible, I don't have a huge issue with it either way.
Or maybe they do something where they actually make the Wii. I think the Wii doesn't have an extensive library, but they bring the library to the Wii. They bring the Wii library in like next year or year.
Some of it, some of it maybe. Because I mean, dude, the Wii was basically a GameCube. Like it was barely more powerful than a GameCube. Like, which is funny. So maybe it's not that difficult. And there's certain games that because Radiant Dawn, you could play with the Wiimote, but you just take all those controls out, right? If you want to, and boom, you've got a port, So I don't know. I will say though, I was excited about this for you because you've never played Path of Radiance, and you have no excuse now. You got to play this game, bro.
Yeah. I never played Path of Radiance.
This is Fire Emblem at its absolute peak as a series.
I keep hearing that, and I
no question.
And I see gameplay footage. I'm like, oh my god, this game looks so fucking good.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to play it. But when I saw that though, all I thought was because I was like actually chomping at the bit for like a GameCube game, and I'm like, man, what game should I buy?
Yeah.
I actually tried to buy Path of Radiance. I have my GameCube still, so I was like, I should try to buy Path of Radiance, and I looked online, bro. That's just like $150. I'm like,
I have a copy of Path of Radiance. I still own my copy, my original copy.
If you want to sell that for like any time to anyone, I mean, I don't know about now, but like before, you can scalp somebody off for like $250.
Don't worry, it's not gonna go down that much. It's still collectible. Like just because it's available doesn't really affect the collectability of these older games. So. Too much, but plus I'm not really concerned about it. I wasn't planning on selling it. I have my little GameCube library and I love it. So
yeah, me too. I have my GameCube library as well, but I forgot to put that one in my library.
And I own Radiant Dawn as well. So if you play Path of Radiance on this, or if you want to play it now, I can lend the game to you if you have a GameCube or a Wii. I own Path of Radiance as well, though. Or sorry, Radiant Dawn as well on Wii. So if you want to play that too, I have that. So if you want to continue after you finish this, so. For you, it's probably not a big deal. You'll have access to the game in some way. But for everybody else, yeah, man, this sucks because I'm pretty sure Radiant Dawn is not a cheap game either. Out on eBay. Sure. Let me go look.
It's one of those games like remember the Doc Hack games, like the collection. Those games are still like $200 or $300, and Bandai refuses to actually.
$200 on Amazon, bro. Oh yikes! Oh my god, bro! Holy shit! Let's go to eBay. Yeah, $200. Oh man. Oh, that's sealed though. I think. Yeah, that's factory sealed. Okay. Used is like 140, 150.
That's still fucking crazy, bro. That's still crazy as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not accessible. They've never re-released it anywhere. It's only on the Wii. Period. That's it. Dude, and frankly, the only reason this is low is because the Wii had a ton of units out there, and they're still out there.
Mhm.
I like if this was on Wii U or something. GG, good luck. You have no shot to get in this game. I feel
I do
like
not have my Wii U anymore. That's the one console I don't have anymore.
me either.
Yeah,
There's no
kind of
reason to
feel
have it.
bad. Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, literally every game was ported off of it, dude. Like, there's no reason to own a Wii U. Period.
Yeah, they
Just buy a
kind of.
Switch.
Yeah, just buy a Switch. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm serious. I think literally every important game that was on the Wii U was ported to Switch. Like
No, you're right.
Xenoblade Chronicles X was it. That was like the last
That
one
was
we were waiting
that was
for.
the last one I was waiting for. To be honest with you, I mean,
Yeah.
Star Fox isn't worth it. That game was fucking ass, bro. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that game sucked. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which
Yeah.
is why the Star Fox franchise fucking sucks right now. Anyway, I am excited for this game.
Yep.
I am excited for this. I am disappointed. I mean, we're not going to get Wind Walker. Like, I mean, they were like, "Oh, it's going to be updated graphics," but I'm like, I really want like a Wind Walker HD or whatever.
Well, they made that on the Wii U.
Yeah, why did it get ported over?
Why didn't that get ported over? Twilight Princess also, dude. You remember?
Yeah, like why didn't those games get ported over to the Switch? It
Know.
can't be that hard. It can't be that hard.
They're saving it for a rainy day, dude. They know those will fucking sell like crazy, so they're saving it for a rainy day. But the list of games here, though, for GameCube is good. So we got Wind Waker, Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Super Mario Strikers, which is that multiplayer enabled? Because I will play that multiplayer.
I think that is. I think they say most of them are multiplayer enabled.
I love the GameCube Super Mario Strikers. Holy fuck, that game is so fun.
Yeah,
and then Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon Coliseum. Those are the only ones they showed. They're not going to be available on launch day, but will be available shortly after launch. They said.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming over several weeks, probably they'll get released. So that's huge, man. GameCube. I mean, I'm in, dude. Like, I've been thinking about playing my Switch more just for the retro stuff because I've been kind of wanting to play Zelda recently, like some of the Zelda games. And that's the best way to play them now is just get the online, Switch Online with the expansion pack thing. So I'm excited because this is everything. Like, dude, you now they have now unlocked the entire library basically of like retro, what I would call retro for Nintendo. GameCube going back is kind of it, and then you got GBA, you got Game Boy Color, original Game Boy, and everything. And
I do recommend a lot of people, and they got the Sega Genesis on there, but I do recommend a lot of people check out their library, because they have expanded the library to like even some obscure games. So, you can probably find something that you want. Yeah, you can probably find something that you want to play.
And it's huge that it's carrying over. They're not starting over. Like, that's huge.
And for me, it's only $50 a year, so I think that's a huge investment. Like, that's really good in my opinion. You get the Switch Online stuff, and then you get the retro shit as well. So that is pretty cool in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So this is a new day for Nintendo. We're getting backwards compatibility. You're keeping your library between consoles. They're not rebooting the Virtual Console again for a third time. So we're in that regard, I'm very happy with this presentation. Actually, like those are things that people were taking for granted that I was not. I didn't think it was guaranteed that all that shit would be true. So
yeah.
So it's good news. All right, moving on. They did show. Oh yeah, F-Zero is going to be on there as well. F-Zero GX, which is huge. That's super fun. Then they went back into games. Deltarune with chapters 3 and 4. All chapters actually. 3 and 4 are new though. It's coming out. I think that was on launch day. Borderlands 4 is coming to the console as well this year.
Your favorite game.
I will say this trailer showed me a little bit more. There seems to be more movement in the game than in previous Borderlands games, which I think is a good move. So not saying I'm excited, but I do want to see a little bit more.
Every time I see Randy Pitcher's face, I just think about you wanting to punch him in the face.
Oh my fucking god, dude, he's the They got it. They got it. Like that board of directors got to be like, Randy, brother. Like we need a different person. Okay, you don't need to be in every video. You know, like I don't know. That would be my suggestion. But then they showed us Civ 7's coming. WWE 2K wrestling is coming as well. Some weird little game called Survival Kids. Enter the Gungeon 2 is coming. Something called Star Seeker. Cyberpunk. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, not Rebirth, just Remake. But that is coming. Wild Hearts S.
That is interesting that Rebirth is not there yet, but
yeah,
maybe they're still working on it.
Might not be able to work on the console too. Remember, the game struggled even on PS5.
That's true.
Bit, so
that's true. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot there. Star Wars Outlaws, then a whole bunch of other games. I'm not going to name every single game.
Yeah.
Then we got a new announcement. And this was, dude. So, how long did it take you before you realized it was a From game? Did it take you till the From logo came up?
No, I knew it from the
the word jump. Okay.
Yeah, from the not well. I saw the hand and stuff like that, right? When she was doing all that, I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Either this is like a Resident Evil game or this is some kind of obscure game or whatever.
Yeah.
But then they did show the From Software logo right then and there, actually. But I think I actually looked away, and I didn't. I'm like, okay, this game. But then when I didn't see that, but then I saw the guy standing on top of the fucking looking over the city. I'm like, oh, this is like Bloodborne 2. I thought it was legitimately Bloodborne 2, but it's called Dust Bloods.
I thought it was Bloodborne 2 until I saw the city, and it was all too modernized or whatever.
True, yeah.
For that to be Bloodborne. I mean, they could go that direction for a second game, I guess.
Well, because like Bloodborne took place in like the Victorian era.
Yes.
So they, like I said, they could have like easily transitioned into like the new era or whatever, or
spun a timeline for it or whatever.
Yeah. But I saw some talks about this, right? Which I think is very interesting. People were saying they couldn't go with Bloodborne 2 or anything Bloodborne related because of a copyright issue. So I legitimately think Sony owns Bloodborne, like that IP.
There's something with that. I don't know. We don't know, dude. We don't know. There's no point speculating on it, right? Like we've talked about it endlessly. Everybody's talked in circles. There's just something. There's something with that game that makes no sense. We've passed the 10-year anniversary, as of last month. So and nothing happened. So I don't know. Is it like a perpetual license, perpetual ownership? Nobody can ever do anything with Bloodborne ever again. Like it's just stranded on PS4 for the rest of eternity at 30 frames per second. Like I don't know.
I would really love a lawyer to like deep dive into that. It has to be a logistical or a legal nightmare.
Yeah, something like I don't know, and or maybe Miyazaki just has ultimate power over it and doesn't give a fuck, and he's just like
I can see that actually.
Yeah,
I can see him just not giving a fuck.
He's like, I don't care. I don't want to make another one of these games, and I'm not letting anyone else do it. So fuck you. It's like it could be that too. Who knows, man? But anyways, back to the Dust Blood. So this is a new game from. It is exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2.
Yep, it is.
Which is fucking shocking, in my opinion. Like, I can't believe that Nintendo would even go for this is shocking, given the kind of games that they make.
I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
I think Bloodborne, or not Bloodborne, but Miyazaki and From Software kind of had the same power that remember that Capcom had when Monster Hunter was super hot. And I think it's a really huge system seller over there in Japan and worldwide, especially in the UK, actually. And it just makes sense. It's a system seller. I think this is going to be their system seller. Or they're trying to market it as that, rather. The game looks really cool to me. It looks like they're going to have all the movement of Sekiro. It looks like it doesn't look like you have like created characters. You have to pick characters, which
so this is a multiplayer game. It's a PvPvE game.
Oh, so it's the same as well, that's not PvPvE.
Night Rain. The same. You're thinking Night Rain. No, so it's different. No, this is like a competitive game. Like it almost seems like a BR almost. Like you're in an arena with 3 or 4 other people, I guess, and you're fighting them and NPC enemies. Like that's
Okay.
that's how the game is described. So I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know if BR is the right word necessarily, but it's some sort of competitive game. So
Okay. That's kind of
which
disappointing.
I disagree. Actually, I think this sounds sick, bro. I'm like
You haven't played their games online.
yeah. Yeah, I know, but if they're literally tailoring the game specifically to be an online multiplayer game, that's different, man. You know, like that's the
I,
focus of the game. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It's not just some little add-on feature that's fun. You know, like it's the game. So
Yeah, that's true. It is the game. It's just they never did a good job at it. I'll be honest with you. It's always been like
yeah,
hella lag and everything.
yeah,
It to me it's not. There are communities for Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring community for like the multiplayer. They
yeah,
actually like patch stuff for multiplayer all the time. Obviously they had a actual DLC for multiplayer where you can go inside the arena and fight people inside the arena. Um in Elden Ring.
yeah,
But it's always, in my opinion, it's always been like hella laggy.
yeah.
So it's interesting. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they're building this from the ground up. But I'm surprised that they're doing this kind of thing on the Switch, like you said. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah, exclusive multiplayer game from software on the Switch.
Yeah,
That's bold, man. It's a bold 2026 too, so it's coming next year. But I don't know. It looks sick to me personally. I'm I don't know. I'm interested in it. I want to see more for sure. Then we got 2 more reveals. The next one, bro. Okay,
this
did you have
was
the same
my.
thought? Did you have the
This
same
was
thought about this as
what
me?
about.
So they announced Kirby Air Riders 2
Mm-hmm.
or Kirby Air Riders is the name of the game. It's a sequel to Kirby Air Ride, which came out on the GameCube way back in the day. It's essentially a kart racer for Kirby, but why are they announcing like I'm like I was confused about why they're like because they already did Mario Kart. They got Mario Kart World and then they're doing Kirby as well, like a Kirby racing game. Like you're competing with yourself. It's like kind of weird, you know? Like
Yeah, but me personally, I like Air Riders or Air Ride, Kirby Air Ride.
mhm.
Um, Which is kind of weird though, like now that you say that, because Air Ride had a huge adventure field that you can go on. I don't know if you remember
Okay.
that.
I didn't play
Um,
it. Yeah, I
oh,
never
you
played
didn't
it.
play it? Okay, so it was this mode where they had a huge adventure field that 4 players can play on, and like random events would happen on the field, just random shit. And they had
Mhm.
like different stuff you can find, different
Yeah.
tunnels you can go down, and everything. Like besides the actual racing game, me and my brother spent literal hours on that fucking adventure field, just doing random shit. And I guess you're probably going to experience that with like your Mario Kart, but like
Yeah.
I first experienced that with like Kirby Air Ride. I never got that feeling back from any other game ever since, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It was
Yeah.
just like it was really cool. So yeah,
Well, yeah, and this is being led by Masahiro Sakurai, who is, the Smash Bros guy, but I didn't know this. He's a Kirby guy. He made Kirby. He's the creator of Kirby, dude.
oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I didn't know that either. That's fucking crazy. And he's made like all the Kirby games.
He's a fucking
Almost.
maniac, dude. Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
let this man rest. It's like what I'm thinking. Goddamn, bro.
Maybe it's just him.
Jesus.
Maybe he just doesn't want to rest, dude.
He's
He's
a
like, I
fucking
gotta.
maniac, man. Like, I mean, to be fair, he hasn't made a game in 7 years, but I mean, he worked on
What did he
Smash
make?
Bros. Ultimate
Did he make
forever,
Forgotten
though.
Lands?
No, he didn't. No, that's not.
Okay.
He didn't have anything to do with that. So,
Okay.
so maybe they are letting him rest. But like, hey, man, like, yeah, because he made the original Kirby Air Ride. He was the director of it.
Yeah, that game was so fun, dude.
Yeah.
That game was
So
so fun.
he knows what he's doing. I guess he's not working on Smash though, right?
Good, man. Let
So we're
that
not.
let that game rest. How about that?
Well,
No more
to the
no more Smash
yeah,
games.
to the same point. To the same point I made about Mario Kart, right? Like Smash Ultimate is literally Smash Ultimate. Like it has every character, every stage that's ever been made in any Smash game. Where do you go from there? It's like
You would have to turn into a 3D fighter. Like it's no longer
you
a 2D fader.
totally change the game in some way, or
Yeah.
bring back the fucking adventure mode from Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Melee or something.
Yeah.
Do some crazy shit like that. I don't know. So yeah, but yeah, Kirby Air Riders. They didn't give like a release date or anything. I don't think.
2025.
Okay, so it's coming this year.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then they had one more announcement, and this one, dude, I couldn't believe it. I'm literally watching this trailer, and I'm like, is this a 3D Mario game at first? And then I'm like, no. I start seeing monkeys and bananas, and I'm like, bro, they're making a Donkey Kong platformer. I'm like, what? They haven't done this in 30 years. What is happening? And yeah, it's a Donkey Kong fucking 3D platformer, dude. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I don't know. It looks cool, man. I don't know
Did you think the same thing I thought?
what.
I was like, they took Knuckles' whole flow. It's Sonic Adventure. It's Sonic
Really?
Adventure 2.
Okay. I mean, I don't. Yeah. Yeah. I guess you're right. Actually, looking at the way he plays, yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair.
But no, it looks really cool. I'm glad they gave him some kind of niche outside of just like a regular platformer. I think this is. I actually think this game looks really cool. This is like, I might actually buy this first day because it looks really fucking cool. To be honest.
Well, I agree. Yeah, it's coming in July. It's not going to be on launch, but it'll be the month after.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool. There's a lot of different environments and worlds that it looks like it has. So, yeah, I don't know. It's exciting. It's cool. It's just, yeah, it's been so long. I mean, Donkey Kong 64 was forever ago, and that was made by Rare too. It wasn't even made by Nintendo. So I'm kind of surprised they're going in here. They've never done it since. So it's a big day.
It looks like they went with the classic Donkey Kong look as well. Like he doesn't look like the Donkey
more
Kong
modern. Modern Donkey Kong. Yeah, I agree. It kind of almost looks younger. Like it's a younger Donkey Kong.
It reminds me of the Donkey Kong. Remember, like when he was first introduced, him and Mario, like the that game. I can't remember the name of the game, but yeah, it looks like that Mario. It looks like that Donkey Kong from the design. So I don't know. It looks really cool, though.
That is the original Donkey Kong, by the way.
Yeah,
like that's the name of the game.
Oh, it's just called Donkey Kong. Okay,
yeah, and that's I'm pretty sure that's where Mario debuted. Like he like Donkey Kong was first.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought Mario
and the
was
plumber
first.
guy, the guy you play as, is Mario, but he's not.
Mario.
I don't think he's called Mario. So yeah. Yeah, and that was it. That was the whole presentation. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty strong overall. Obviously, given the controversy, it might change people's opinion on it. But I think as from the standpoint of a pure presentation, like I think it was really strong.
It was really strong. There were people trying to say that it was kind of weak because they didn't show any new games. All they showed was old games. I'm like, what?
They showed like 4 new games, all from them. They got an exclusive FromSoft game that's new. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's plenty of new shit. We're getting GameCube games. Like, I don't know. I thought it was really strong. I think I don't know. Yeah, the pricing notwithstanding, like I think content wise, there's plenty to show, and clearly, obviously, it's so obvious that they were waiting forever to show this because there's a section in here of like a couple minutes where they just blast through games, dude. Where it's just like they're giving each game like 5 seconds, So they had so many partners waiting to announce shit for this. I'm pretty sure, and yeah, so it's good. June 5th. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm going to buy it right away, though. I will be honest. The timing isn't super great for me because you're going to hate me, Montrell, but the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering set comes out.
Oh my God.
Like a week after that. So I don't know if I'm going to have money for the Switch, realistically. So we'll see.
Dear God, help me.
Made him so mad. I love it. All right. Anything else you want to say about Switch 2? Any of the games?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, let's move on to our next story. GameStop, they're in trouble. They are, quote, closing a significant number of stores and will invest heavily in Bitcoin, end quote. This is from I saw this on CNN. I don't know who the original reporter is, if it's them or somebody else, but um so they closed, according to CNN, they've closed a quarter of their locations in the past year, which is 1,000 stores. Um, and they've GameStop has now said they're not close to done closing stores. It is they're going to be closing more. What they called a quote significant number of stores, and they're going to invest cash in cryptocurrencies. So, um, yeah, Montreal. I mean, it's over, right? I mean, it's been over, but it's over, right?
Yeah, this is it. When you hear crypto, it's a scam. Like now they're about to start scamming people.
Yeah, I agree. Investing in Bitcoin, like what the fuck are they
Yeah,
doing, dude? I don't know.
it's a wrap for the people. I'm sorry, like that's
Yeah,
it. Hang it
yeah,
up, buddy. Hang it
it's
up,
sad.
Bucko.
Um, yeah, yeah. The so one of the quotes in here from Neil Saunders, he said, "The pivot to quote the pivot to Bitcoin is really a defense against irrelevance." An odd thing, as it's basically saying the strategy isn't retail, but to act as some kind of cryptocurrency investment vehicle. End quote. Yeah, it's just like what are we doing, dude? Like they're gonna pivot into being a crypto bro investment firm. Like what is going on? I don't know. So they're in trouble. It's pretty much done, I would say. We'll uh we'll see how long the rest of it takes for their stores to close, but it's going to be the end of an era with GameStop, you know. Um, not that I ever enjoyed the era that much, to be frank. Like I've never really liked GameStop. Um, I don't know about you, but I miss EB Games and Funko Land. Those were the ones that I enjoyed when I was a kid. And
Yeah,
GameStop came in and bought them both and ruined them. So you know,
yeah. I like EB Games and Funko Land way better. Um, I don't know. I think they kind of lost their footing when you know digital started happening because I actually do miss like the midnight releases of games. I think those are one of the
yeah,
most fun things to go to, and we just don't have that anymore.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, there's no point in going to a brick and mortar store almost at any point. I mean, if you do, you have to host other stuff, and GameStop just doesn't want to do that. They don't want to host any like card game tournaments or
yeah.
anything, because they could be that one stop shop for that in the local neighborhoods.
Yeah,
That
they're too corporate. They don't want to do that shit,
yeah.
dude.
So
Like, like they should have been that place from the get go. You know, I remember when Smash Bros. Brawl came out. I went to my local GameStop for the midnight launch of that back in the day, and there was like a little tournament they did. You know, and whoever won, got like a free copy of the game.
yeah,
And it's like, it was cool. You got to go and kind of show off your fucking skills a little bit against people, and yeah, maybe you win and you get their game for free. It's like that was kind of cool, man. And it's like, but you know, they just stopped doing shit like that at a certain point. It's like they're not interested in that. And it's like I don't understand why companies, this is where you can tell like companies are in a bad shape when they start doing away with stuff like that. Things that they can't quantify on a spreadsheet with numbers. It's like obviously you can't quantify the value of hosting a midnight launch and doing a stupid little tournament like that for a game, right? You can't necessarily quantify that, but obviously there's value there though. You're driving customers to the store. You're kind of getting engagement with them. You are a destination, as you said, for this kind of activity. It's like and they just never embrace that fully. It's like they should be a place where they host tournaments and stuff, and they do like a Street Fighter tournament every year or something, or like fighting game tournament or something, where they're like they have their own like esports type presence, but it's not esports, like it's live, like playing
yeah.
playing with the people. Like they could have done stuff like that and really like driven activity in a different way. It's not just about the retail stores. So I don't know.
I agree. I just think like they lack. I mean, like I said, we're not CEOs.
Right.
I mean, there are certain companies that can do certain things that a lot of people haven't, you know, suggestions on, and they're like, "Oh, we just don't see the data there." And it's like sometimes it's not all about the data, like you said. Sometimes with the foot traffic, like if I'm
Yeah.
constantly going to this GameStop, like I can buy used games while I'm in there. Oh, well, let me buy this like $10 used game or $15 used game, or let me buy this collectible that I always see every time I come in here. I got enough money to buy it now or whatever. And I mean, yeah, because I'm playing in tournaments and you constantly hosting tournaments, hosting games night, hosting card game
Yeah.
nights and all other stuff like that. Like that's how these other local shops do it. Why aren't you doing it? You know? So uh I don't know. They have the capacity to be in every kind of like uh community. So, they could do stuff like that, but they just I don't know. The crypto thing just lets me know like this is truly the end of GameStop right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they literally are saying they're pivoting away from retail. That's crazy, dude. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously retail's not doing great right now, but I don't know. I mean, it's too late, man. I don't even know what you could do at this point to save it. Like, I don't think you can. There's really no. I just don't think there's any way you could, even if you tried. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we'll keep an eye on this. I'm sure the closure announcement will come in, a year or two probably. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah. See you later, GameStop. All right, moving on, Montrell. This one's for you, man. League of Legends, Riot
Not for me.
Games. League of Legends, Riot Games, your favorite company, your favorite game. They're
Oh,
making a physical card game, which they actually announced back in December. I don't know how I missed this, um, but they announced the official name of it this week, and it's called Riftbound League of Legends trading card game, and it's coming next year to the US. And they released a trailer where they showed new card art, kind of redesigned card art, because the original prototypes they showed were heavily criticized. They didn't look very good. I do think it looks much better now. And yeah, they're making a physical card game on trial. I mean, come on, man. You can't tell me that you have zero interest in this.
I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't have any
Man,
interest in
come on.
it.
Not even from like an art standpoint, just like collecting your favorite characters, like from like for their card art or something like that.
Nah, it doesn't look interesting to me.
Oh my god, this guy. So
I'm
edgy.
sorry. It just doesn't look. It doesn't. I don't know.
Okay, what if we got into it? Like, me and Jet started playing it or something.
Maybe I'll get into it. I don't know. It depends on how the game plays as well.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't reveal anything like that, right? So we don't really know how it plays. Like, is it, so given that we don't know much about it. They just showed art and announced it and announced sets and stuff like that. So all those details will come. Obviously, that's kind of the key component is how the game plays, but I'm intrigued. As somebody who plays Magic the Gathering, though, I'm not sure I want to add another card game to my repertoire. It's probably a bad call, but I don't know though. Like League as a card game does sound kind of cool though.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, it'd be cool, man. You make your like Jinx deck. You use the Death Rocket on people.
I don't even like Jinx. Why you just push her over me like that?
All right, fine. You play Silas and you use his fucking ultimate skill and you steal somebody's card or something,
That would be cool, actually. That would
Yeah.
be actually be cool.
Yeah,
That would be
Silas's deck is like he plays your opponent's cards or shit like that. Like that would be his archetype maybe. Um that'd be kind of cool actually. So, yeah, I'm sure they could build it in a way where you like it, or like a Leona deck that's like a lockdown deck.
cool. Yeah.
You're just like stunning monsters constantly and stuff and the enemy can't move, shit like that. So, I don't know. I think in card game form it would definitely work. So we'll see. But yeah, it's coming next year to the US. I think it's coming to China this year. They're actually doing China first, I believe. Which is interesting. But the thing I'm curious about is going to be pricing, actually, because I will say that Magic the Gathering is out of control with pricing recently. And it is definitely like souring me on the game a bit. Because I enjoy buying product for Magic the Gathering, but the level of just price increase has gotten so crazy now that it's like not even realistic or feasible or even smart to buy new product anymore. So it's like if Riot comes in and they're like, "Hey, you can get 30 booster packs for $80, or whatever in their set box," like, man, I'm in because that's like half the price of a Magic box now. So that's like a key component of this to me is like, yeah, what does pricing look like? Because that's like the biggest thing I think they can compete on if they really wanted to is push pricing down. But um, I don't know though. They may take the cues from Magic and be like, well, our IP's big enough. People will pay $140 for a booster box.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be monitoring this just to see that personally. So we'll see. All right, Macho, let's move on. We're done with news. Let's go to guess the meta score. We guessed South of Midnight several weeks ago now, and the game is out and it has critic scores. So I guess a 7.2. You guessed a 7.5, and damn it, Macho, you got me. It's 778 on Metacritic right now.
Nice.
People seem to like this game actually. It seems like it's getting relatively well received. So, do you still plan on playing it?
Yes, I'm gonna buy it first day.
Okay, because I think it comes out. When does it come out?
I think it comes out next week, maybe.
The 8th. Yeah, that would be Tuesday, I think. Yep, and this is an Xbox exclusive. So yeah, that's cool. It'll be on Game Pass as well if you want to play it that way. So I'll be interested to see what how you feel about it.
It is coming to PC too, same day, so you guys can buy it. It's not going to be on Steam. I think. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Or maybe it is.
Okay.
Maybe it is.
Okay. Fair enough. Are there any games coming out that we want to guess? Claire Obscure. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I forgot that's coming out this month. Dude, I'm so behind, bro. Oh, I gotta stop playing PUBG with you guys, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Clear Obscure. I think Doom is coming out either this next month. Doom's coming out next month.
Yeah. All right, let's guess Claire Obscure. What is it? Expedition 33.
Expedition 33.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you go first.
People were upset about that game too. Or they're upset about the name. What is the name? I'm like, oh my god, shut up.
What's wrong with the name?
They said the name was too complicated.
I mean, have you played a Square Enix game?
That's exactly what I said.
Shut the fuck up. This is fine.
It was Jason Schreier who started the conversation. He was like, I don't know.
Dude, he loves Octopath Traveler. What is he talking about?
That's actually the prime example people were pointing out to. He's like, bro, Octopath Traveler's a dumb name. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like one of his favorite fucking games in the last 5 years. Like, what is he talking about? Oh my god. He's just trying to piss people off.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get a buzz out of people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 81.
Okay. I'm gonna go 80. I'm gonna go higher than I should. I'm gonna go 86.
Yeah, I could easily. I was being real safe, but I could easily see this being like an 89.
No, I think you're in the right ballpark. I think I'm probably gonna be wrong on this one. I'm high on this game, and I think I'm letting that cloud my judgment a little bit. I mean, I could just go 82 and box you out, but I don't want to do that. I don't like doing that. It's not really the spirit of the game. Okay,
yeah,
this isn't The Price is Right. So I'm gonna go 86. On that one. And then what else is coming out? Is there anything? You said Doom. Is Doom's in May, isn't it?
Yeah, Doom's in May. We don't have to worry about that for a while.
Okay, we can wait.
Yeah,
we'll just stick with Claire Obscure. Other than that, though, other than Claire Obscure, there's like really.
There might be some other games coming out, but I can't remember right now off the top of my head.
Well, there's Dune Awakening, which is a new MMO coming.
Oh yeah, I saw a gameplay for it. I don't know how I feel about it.
Does it not look good? I haven't checked it out.
It looks okay.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it looks like a survival game more so.
Really?
That makes any sense. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Okay. Oh, and then we have Night Rain at the end of May. Elden Ring Night Rain.
Oh yeah, I thought that game was already out for some reason, but no, that was just the demos that were out.
No, yeah. Oh, and then we have Switch after that. So I guess yeah, we could do the Switch games when those get closer. So I think May is going to be pretty quiet though for the most part outside of Doom, which I don't care about at all. Um, so yeah, cool. Got a little bit of time here. Got like a 2-month window to catch up on some stuff. Hopefully. All right, cool, man. Well, that's all we got today. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we head out?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Well, guys, if you like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please subscribe to us on YouTube. It would really help us out. If you'd like to interact with the show on Twitter, you can do so at The Players Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com, and we will answer your question on the show. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next week.